What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me. A little couple of minutes late, but better late than never, to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. This is episode number 626 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before I get into anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire, all right, folks? And let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now, baby. I'm telling you this over and over again. Type this in your browsers, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites. The following, ghost.report, okay? Ghost.report, that's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Spread that damn link around the internets and throughout the world. Ghost.report is the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to say what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio damn chat room, even though we've got some people out here bitching and moaning that I'm a couple of minutes late. Hey, assholes! I don't get paid for this broadcast anymore, all right? And I got a whole bunch of shit to do, all right? So excuse the fuck out of me if I'm a couple of minutes goddamn late, for Christ's sake, all right? I mean, I'm not getting paid for this shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do appreciate the folks that are contributing out there in the fashions that they are, but goddamn, all right? Sorry, excuse the fuck out of me that I'm fucking late for fucking 2 or 3 goddamn minutes, all right? It's a Monday, first and foremost. And secondly, I mean, so fucking what, all right? I'm fucking 2 or 3 minutes late, all right? Get over it! Get the fuck over it! Anyway, aside from the folks that are complaining, all right, in the fucking chat room, what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room? And by the way, I think that Gab has got, all the things squared away on their transaction company, so everything's good now. And by the way, if you don't have yourself a Gab account, well then go ahead and get yourself a free one, all right, and follow me under the name Politics Ghost, okay? Follow me on Gab under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost. And, of course, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all you've got to do is go to my Gab account right now, all right, Politics Ghost, and click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? All right? Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do that, go ahead and private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will go ahead and private message you back a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast chat room. It's that damn simple, all right? Anyway, folks, look, I'm not in a very good mood today. I should be in a good mood, but I'm not. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. It's fucking raining out here. It's been gloomy all day. And I just don't have enough fucking time in the day, especially with this fucking show, man. I don't have the fucking enough time in the day! I got businesses to run in real life over here. I got fucking family. I got fucking this and that. And I gotta sit here and I gotta fucking plan for this broadcast. And here I got people in the fucking chat room talking shit. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, let me calm down. Let me have a freaking soft drink up in here. I wish I should get some fucking beer. I want to be honest with you. Maybe that's the problem. I've been too sober, as of late. Maybe I should get some beer, but unfortunately, I'm on the broadcast, so I can't just pause the goddamn broadcast to go and get some fucking beer. All right? So I'm sitting over here with a can of cola, thinking that I don't know, heel kicking. I don't fucking know. I'm not in a good mood, all right? Not enough fucking time in the day, and, and here I got people in the chat room shit-talking, all right? I mean, shit talking because I'm over here a couple of minutes late. Go fuck yourselves, all right? Seriously, man. Fucking tired of... Ugh. You know what? I should have just taken the day off. I should have just taken the day off. It's Columbus Day, even though nobody wants to acknowledge it anymore. God knows why, because we're in this fucking ridiculous leftist mindset in this country. Ugh. Let me calm down for a second, all right? All right, let me calm down. I really don't want to be here, folks. I want to be honest with you, man. I really wish I could be watching Monday Night Football right now, even though those bastards are refusing to get up off their fucking knees, even though they're a bunch of dumb idiots playing a goddamn game for millions of dollars. I don't know where the hell else you'd go in the world to find that kind of opportunity. And I wish I was drinking beer right now, but instead, here I am. I'm broadcasting, all right? How much did I make last month? I think I made a whopping fucking $400 last month, which, you know, is great. It probably pays for my goddamn insurance for my cars, so that's great. So maybe, you know, that's fucking brilliant. Anyway, look, I'm sorry for complaining, folks. It's just people are making me sick nowadays. I'm looking at the media. The people make me sick. You know, I look on the YouTubes. You know, I look on YouTubes and I see a bunch of fucking liberal lunatics that are completely out of their minds, and they make me sick. But I did have a good night on Saturday, okay? I did have a good night on Saturday. I'm going to be completely honest with you, folks. We had a president rally, and we're going to get to that in a minute. And obviously, folks, we were celebrating Brett Kavanaugh being finally put into the Supreme Court, and I loved the salt that was going around these left-wing social justice warrior idiots. But even though people out here on the internet are taking gratification in the leftist salt, I do want to remind you, folks, that these people, even though we're laughing at them, they actually exist in our country. These are actually people that exist in our country. Now, I want to be honest with you, folks. I was keen and watching whoever was out there on the ground floor out there in Washington, D.C. on Saturday afternoon when they finally announced that Brett Kavanaugh was a part of the Supreme Court. And I want to be honest with you, folks, the same constant that you see in all of these protests on the left, whether it's the Million Woman March, whether it's Occupy protest, whether it's whatever the hell they were doing this Saturday out there in front of they were in front of the White House, they were in front of any building that had cameras in it, okay? And you know what the constant is with all these protesters on the left? Every time I see it, it's fatties, uglies, and faggots, okay? That is the constant that I see every time I look at the left, whenever they're congregating in front of some building for a protest. That is literally the constant that I see. All right? Fatties, uglies, and fucking faggots. All right? Now, did you all see any of this footage at all? If you have not seen this footage, I mean, good God. I strongly advise you to take a look at your YouTube and take a look at some of these disgusting, despicable bimbos and their faggots. Because I'm telling you, folks, it's always fatties, uglies, and faggots. They're the ones out there protesting. And we understand why a bunch of fatties and uglies are protesting, because, by God, if they had themselves a cock that actually cared about them, they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be there with their faggots and being fag hags. They wouldn't be there. And the only reason why they're there, folks, is because they're fatties and uglies. If they had any integrity for themselves and at least looked at themselves in the mirror and realized that I can't look like some abomination, like some goddamn ridiculous neon-haired, fat, disgusting Snorlax garbage disposal, maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't be there wasting their time, effort, and energy for nothing. But what I don't understand is, what are the faggots doing there? What are the faggots doing there with the fatties and uglies? What are they doing there? And it's not like you know, it's these faggots that are just ugly either. I mean, you've got these twinkie, trap-looking queers that are out there protesting with these women, and they were out there this Saturday in Washington, D.C., protesting against Brett Kavanaugh. And my assumption to this is this. The reason that we see these twinkie, trap, very effeminate gay males out there protesting with these fatties and uglies is because, and this is the only explanation for this, is that they're pause holes. They are pause holes, folks, because if they were like any other little fruit bowl, little effeminate gay, they wouldn't be out there with a bunch of fatties and uglies talking about woman power, okay? They would be out at a gay club, prancing their little asses around to the longest ding-a-ling that'll penetrate their rose-budded assholes, okay? But since they're not at the gay club, since they're not servicing glory holes, since they're not acting like a bunch of sexual deviants, I am only to assume that the reason they're out there with a bunch of fatty and ugly women is because they're pause holes. I mean, there is no other explanation for it, folks. They're pause holes, and that's why you've got these twink, goddamn trap fruit bowls out there with these women. And I'm telling you this right now, man, this is just a disgrace. I mean, I can't believe that we have this many lunatics, this many goddamn lunatics on the left. And look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep something up here in just a couple of minutes, and I want you to hear the reaction. I want you to hear the reaction of these goddamn women after Brett Kavanaugh was announced that he's in the Supreme Court. I'm not even joking around, folks. It is a disgrace. But these are women, huh? These are women out here. This is the modern day feminist woman out here. They're out there, they're protesting with their fellow uglies and fatties and faggots. I mean, come on, folks. You all know as well as I, all these women out here that are protesting Kavanaugh, that are protesting, this, that are protesting that, they're just disgusting, despicable people that nobody wants to be around. They are disgusting, despicable people that nobody wants to be around, man. And what I don't understand is that how come nobody is telling these fatties and uglies this? You understand? I mean, these fatties and uglies need to start knowing this. And, I'm encouraging everybody out there. All right? I'm tired of this whole, you don't need to fat shame, Ghost. You don't need to ugly shame. I can do whatever the fuck I want to. Do you understand? This is the freedom of speech. And I'm tired. Do you understand that? I am tired of having to bow down to political correctness when we live in a country where I should have the right to fucking say whatever the fuck I want to say. All right? So with that being said, folks, I want everybody to listen, okay, to the protesters, all the women protesters. And look, they weren't just all women. There were some faggots there. All right? There was, once again, what were they? What's the constant in all these leftist protests? They're fatties, uglies, and fucking faggots. That's what they are. Well, once these fatties, uglies, and faggots were announced that Kavanaugh was a part of the Supreme Court, I want you all to listen to the reaction. And remember, I want you all to listen, and I want you all to remember that these are uglies, fatties, and faggots. This actually happened, folks. This is on YouTube. I want to thank Millennial Millie for being out there on the ground level to capture this stuff. She's on YouTube. She's part of InfoWars, all that nonsense. But still, the content speaks louder than words. Listen to the reaction. Listen to the reaction of these protesters as Brett Kavanaugh was announced on the Supreme Court. Listen. Go ahead and put it on, engineer.
We will win. This is our battle cry. This is our battle cry. This is our song. The storm is raging.
And you got some woman that's topless with faggots and uglies and fatties. And this is all that's there.
This is our battle
This is all that's there.
This is our song. So march on, my sister.
I mean, look at these ugly women and faggots.
This is our battle cry.
And bullnosed bulldykes.
This is our song.
I can't forget them.
The war is raging.
Oh, my God.
And we are strong.
Are you all listening to this shit?
Battle cry. This is our song.
This is America!
And we will win.
These are American uglies, fatties, and faggots! Right fucking here! Listen!
We will win. And we will win. And we will win. We will win. This is our battle cry.
This is right after they announced Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court. Listen! Fatties, uglies, and fucking faggots! Right here!
And we will win.
Oh, Jesus.
This is our battle. This is our battle cry. This is our song.
Shut the fire! I turn it off! Turn that crap off! I mean, folks, this is what I'm talking about out here, folks. This is liberal lunacy. This is liberal lunacy right before your eyes. And these people are Americans. I mean, what these people don't understand is they would not be allowed to conduct themselves in this type of idiocy in any other country. They would be dispersed with tear gas, with fire hoses, with batons. Hell, in the communism and socialist models that many of these people want, they would either be executed on the spot or thrown in prison. And I'm starting to say that, look, we as American people can no longer be pigeonholed and trapped and even intimidated by any kind of political correctness. We have got to stop with this political correctness because it is obviously a precursor to complete liberal lunacy. And folks, I'm telling you this right now, this really concerns me, the amount of fatties, uglies, and faggots that are out here in abundance protesting on the left. There's a lot of them. And if you want my personal opinion, I think that the president needs to take action on these people. I think that the first thing that the president needs to do, in my personal opinion, is write off that damn executive order that Obama had legalizing gay marriage. Since these fucking faggots, instead of appreciating the fact that they're in a goddamn country where they can suck each other's cocks in the middle of the club without getting arrested, gay bashed, or any of that other crap, these people are unappreciative, sick maniacs. And look, I'm not trying to say that about all gays, once again, but a group is defined by its majority. And I'm sick and tired of these gays out here trying to identify themselves as some kind of, oh, look at me, I'm gay, and I'm a transgendered, and I'm lesbian, and I have an identity now. I have an identity. I take it up the asshole, so that gives me an identity. And that makes me so powerful. It does. It makes me so damn powerful. I'm telling you, we need to get rid of gay marriage because first and foremost, once it happened, and what did all the conservatives say all these years if you legalize gay marriage? It was a slippery slope down to pedophilia and bestiality, and now you've got people fucking the dead now. Since we've legalized gay marriage, we've got to end it. And by the way, how many of these gays are truly monogamous in this kind of capacity? Huh? I sure as hell don't see it. I sure as hell don't see it. And the second thing we need to do, folks, is we need to end the taxpayer-funded Truvada. And if you're not familiar with Truvada, well, it is the widely dispensed taxpayer-funded pill that they're giving all gays so that they could prevent themselves from getting their neg hole paused. Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, this is something that is prevalent amongst the gays in their social circles, that if they're on, quote, PrEP or PrEP, which is Truvada, that means that they don't have to use any kind of protection anymore. At least that's what they think. They think that they pop this Truvada pill, that why use protective sex, that it's supposed to protect against the HIV and the AIDS. And you see, we've got taxpayer-funded funds that are out here paying for this. Now, why are taxpayer funds paying for gays to be sexually irresponsible? I mean, I don't understand this. I don't like this. And we wonder why there's an explosion of HIV/AIDS. I mean, we, as, I guess, a society, are condoning this by promoting the fact that, hey, why don't you take this pill and take as many pause loads as you want? Because Truvada, it'll help you to get your neg hole from being paused. Another thing that we have to do, folks, in my personal opinion, is that we have to hit women back where it hurts. Okay? They are a protected class at this point, and they are still bitching and moaning. Now, first and foremost, now that we've got a majority, because Brett Kavanaugh sits in the Supreme Court, I think that we should go right after Roe v. Wade. We need to go right after Roe v. Wade, because it's these women that are out here claiming, oh my God, Brett Kavanaugh's a monster. He was alleged to have done some sexual abuse 36 years ago that was unfounded and uncorroborated, but I'm going to still believe it because it's a woman who said it, and because women say sexual abuse, it's automatically true without any kind of due process, because that's the new womanhood, bitch, okay? And if a couple of men have to go down because women are now taking over, well, so be it. I mean, this is what these women are thinking. And if that's the case, well, then maybe, just maybe, we should just strip them from the opportunity of being able to kill their own children. I'm not kidding. Maybe we should just do this. I mean, look at what they've done so far. Take a look at everything. We have given everything to women and these queers. And look at what they've done. Look at what they've become. Look at what they've turned society into. Both, and I do mean both of these variants, want to sexualize children. Why do you think that gays have an infatuation about wanting to sexualize your child? Have y'all seen that you got drag queens now reading to kindergartners in New York City? You've got people in California now trying to show your child that it's okay to want to change your gender at 6 and 7 years old. It's okay to give your child hormones and to change their gender when they are a child. And this is what this all comes down to, folks. It's these kooky-ass feminists. It's these fucking faggots. And you know what? I'm going to say faggot. I don't give a shit what anybody says anymore, all right? And by the way, you queers, you wish that some big buck masculine man could get in back of you and buck you like you ain't never been bucked before and call you a faggot. All right? That's what you all want. I mean, before they took down the goddamn Craigslist personal ads, if you look for male, I mean, first of all, it was a sexual deviant place, but you'd have many of these gays saying, I want you to force me bent over and call me faggot. I mean, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of political correctness, folks. This is America. We should be able to fucking say what we want to say. And one more thing before we get to the cryptocurrency and stocks component of this broadcast. This past weekend, we had a fight in the MMA field. It was once again Conor McGregor against this Russian Yehudi, this Russian Muslim by the name of Khabib Negrahov or Niagara Roll or whatever the hell his name was, all right? Now, I don't know if you people are familiar, but you've got this Khabib, after he had beaten Conor McGregor after this fight this past Saturday, he decided that he was going to go a la snack bar and go into the crowd and started attacking people. And his fellow Russian Muslims went into the ring and started causing a ruckus, damn near caused a riot, okay? And the reason that Khabib said that he went all ape shit and damn near caused a riot in Las Vegas was because Conor McGregor was talking against his religion and his family. So this Yehudi, I mean, goes to show you how these Muslims think. He thought that after he had beaten Conor McGregor with a choke, after he beats him with a chokehold, he decides that he's going to go wild Yehudi and go out in the crowd and start attacking people. The people a part of his team started attacking people. I mean, folks, the justification for Khabib is that Conor McGregor was talking about his religion, talking about his family, and that he thought he was justified in committing that type of ridiculous, criminalistic act. And you know what's being discussed nowadays amongst people now that they saw Khabib act like a fucking kebab? Do you know what they're discussing now that they've seen Khabib act like a kebab? They're saying that, well, maybe the UFC needs to have some rules against what they say in these press conferences. You know, they have to, curb their language. And I'm glad Dana White, the guy who runs UFC, is saying, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to have rules in which guys that are talking against each other are going to say, that's ridiculous. This is America. And this is the fight game. This is organized mayhem, sanctioned mayhem. And if Khabib wanted to make McGregor look like an idiot, which I think he did by making him tap and forcing him to tap out with a chokehold, he should have just taken his belt, gotten on the microphone, and said, look at this Irish muck shoveling Mick. Look at this Irish muck shoveling Mick. But no, he couldn't do that. And what I'm trying to say is this, okay, is that if they in the UFC or people that are spectators of the UFC are attempting to try to say that there should be rules set in relations to what fighters can say to one another in a press conference, well then, folks, I mean, what precedent are we going down at this point? Does that mean that I can't say nothing about an Arab or a Muslim if I'm in a press conference and I'm in a fight? You notice that it's always the Muslims that we've got to curb our speech, curb our freedoms upon, even though these Muslims are coming to our country. We have to curb our way of life. We've got to curb our perceptions. We've got to watch our speech. Bullshit. All right? And I'm glad Conor McGregor, even though he's a muck-shoveling Mick Irishman, I'm glad he went after Khabib and his kebab family. If you even know who the hell Khabib is, and his father was the right-hand man to Kadyrov, which is the Chechnyan rebel leader, the Islamic rebel leader. So that just goes to show you how much of a Yehudi Khabib was. And all I'm simply stating is if you're in America, you need to understand that in America we have the right to freedom of speech. And if I want to say that you're acting like a Yehudi kebab and take your goddamn turban off, then I should be able to do so. You are in my country. You know that Christians can't even pray to themselves in public arenas anymore without being accosted by a Muslim, an atheist, a Satanist, etc. But we, as Americans, have to sit here and oblige Muslim sensitivities? Are you fucking joking me? Get the fuck out of my country if you don't like it, all right? Americans that are born in this country, that are American citizens, have the right to say whatever the fuck they want to say. So long as you're not infringing upon somebody's freedom, upon somebody's property, then you should be able to say whatever it is that you want to say. And that's why I'm saying it, folks. That's why I'm saying it. It's time to turn off political correctness. It's time to turn off this idea that we have to have a new vocabulary in order to, conduct ourselves in America. That is enough. I'm tired of it. It's enough. Anyway, let me move on, folks. Once again, what's the constant? I want you all to remember this. What's the constant when it comes to these left-wing liberal protests? What's the constant? Fatties, uglies, and fucking faggots! Fatties, uglies, and fucking faggots! Anyway, that's what I wanted to get across here at the beginning of the broadcast. Now that I've got it across, let's go ahead and go right into the cryptocurrency coverage of the broadcast, folks. Now, I'm sure everybody right now is heel kicking to some extent because we did see a contraction throughout the weekend. We are seeing a little bit of a bump today in the cryptocurrency markets. So let's go ahead and take a look at the market capitalization of the entire cryptocurrency market, okay? The entire market capitalization of cryptocurrency right now is $221 billion market capitalization. So once again, folks, we saw a little bit of a creep up. I think I saw it as low as about 216, 217 this weekend. So we are seeing a little bit of a come up here. How long that will last, no one knows. But once again, in the mainstream business media, they're talking about a bullish end-of-the-year run when it comes to crypto. I mean, just take a look at all the mainstream business media, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I'm starting to hold on that side as well. As a matter of fact, I think this Christmas, people should be giving the gift of cryptocurrency, if you want my personal opinion. I mean, get somebody $25, $30, $40, $50 in crypto, put it in a paper wallet, and give it to them. And say, hey, here it is. Here's $50 in Bitcoin. Here's $50 in Ethereum. Here's $50 in Litecoin. Here's $50 in Quantum. Whatever. I think this holiday season, this Christmas, give the gift of crypto, baby, all right? And not to mention, it's an easy gift. I mean, you know, how can they say no? It's money, baby. It's money. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to some crypto coverage here. Let's go ahead and get to Bitcoin, all right? Bitcoin right now, market capitalization is $115 billion market cap. The circulating supply is 17.3 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone up 0.63%. Current price for Bitcoin is $6,650.25 per Bitcoin. Let's get to Ethereum, folks. ETH is the symbol. Market capitalization is $23 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 102 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum has gone up 1.77%. Current price for Ethereum is $229.71 per Ethereum. Now, once again, I don't like covering Ripple. I don't like covering XRP is the symbol. But, folks, I mean, they're already taking off in the legitimate financial world. There's 3 financial institutions that are utilizing Ripple blockchain technology to process transactions. Even though we are seeing somewhat of a contraction on Ripple this weekend, remember, we saw Ripple go as high as about almost $3 in its high. I'm suggesting that everybody should possibly entertain in the short term, Ripple, because in my personal opinion, it's ripe to take a hike at least over $1 here in the next few months. All right, it's a short-term play. They've got a lot of partnerships in play at this point in time, and you hear the mainstream business media talking about Ripple this, Ripple that, every time you turn to a business media and they discuss anything about crypto. So let's go ahead and get to Ripple. Symbol is XRP. Current market capitalization is $19.5 billion market cap. The circulating supply is, you might as well say, 40 billion in circulation. In the past 24 hours, XRP has gone up 1.53%. Current price for XRP, 49 cents right now. 49 cents. But once again, just a short-term play on XRP. They're making lots of deals. Like I said, financial industries, 3 of them specifically, are now utilizing their blockchain as a means of transacting transactions. So we shall see what happens. Let's go ahead and get to Bitcoin Cash, folks. BCH is the symbol. Market capitalization is $9.2 billion market cap. The circulating supply for Bitcoin Cash is 17.3 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash has gone up 2.32%. And you know, folks, I've said that Bitcoin Cash looks very promising here for the next year or so. So we shall see. Once again, the highest Bitcoin Cash has gone is over the $3,000 mark. But the current price right now for Bitcoin Cash, symbol BCH, $530.05 per Bitcoin Cash. Let's go ahead and get to Litecoin, folks. LTC. Now, once again, there's a lot of promise with Litecoin, but, Charlie Lee, the guy who created it, just cannot stop spurging out on his Twitter, so who knows the future for Litecoin. I do think that Litecoin is rather low right now, considering that its high point was way over, $300-400? So I think that Litecoin could possibly do something here in the next few months. But it depends on whether or not it's going to get some acceptance going on within general retailers, and other places who accept cryptocurrency as a means of exchanging goods and service. Let's go ahead and get to Litecoin, folks. Market cap is $3.4 billion market capitalization. The circulating supply for Litecoin is 58 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Litecoin has gone up 2.37% increase on the day. Current price for Litecoin, symbol LTC, $59.45 per Litecoin. Let's go ahead and get to Monero, folks. All right? Monero XMR, current market cap for Monero, and the reason I cover this is because, first of all, the underworld of the dark webs is starting to accept this as a means of exchanging goods and services. And lest we forget, this one likes to run very nicely, so it is a pattern and swing trading play. XMR market cap is $1.8 billion market capitalization. Circulating supply for Monero is 16.4 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Monero has gone up 0.54%. Current price for Monero, $114.37 per Monero. Let's go ahead and get to Dash, folks. DASH. And once again, Genesis-mining.com contracts are still available. So I'd strongly advise everybody to take a look at those once again at Genesis-mining.com. Take a look at my gab once again if you need a link to Genesis-mining.com. Once again, I like the Dash contracts. I like the Bitcoin contracts are looking a little attractive because they are for 5 years as opposed to 2 years, which is their traditional contracting length. I do like Zcash if they ever put those available, and I think Monero isn't too bad either. So go ahead and take a look, Genesis-mining.com, and take a look at getting yourself a 2-year or 5-year cryptocurrency contract and get daily deposits in your crypto wallet as the hardware that you're leasing out for 2 to 5 years from Genesis-mining.com begins to flourish, baby. I'm telling you, we got lots of people in the inner circle that have purchased these going back to April of 2017. We got a lot of people right now in the True Capitalist Radio broadcast that have purchased, and they are extremely happy. Daily payments, and it's a decent investment. So that's why I'm suggesting it. That's why I continue to suggest it. I have an Ethereum contract, also have a Zcash contract, and I've bought both of those in 2017, and they are still paying on a consistent basis, and I have more than quintupled my money even at these prices. So, once again, entertain a Genesis-mining.com contract before they're all sold out, because they're limited. And if you're going to entertain a cryptocurrency Genesis-mining.com contract, then you got to use the discount code. You know what I'm talking about? You got to use the discount code. The discount code is WEA20. 296. Once again, the Genesis-mining.com discount code is WEA296. So once again, entertain those Dash contracts while they're still available. In my opinion, they are the best buy. But now that we got that out of the way, let's cover Dash right now. DASH is the symbol. Market cap is $1.5 billion market capitalization for Dash. And the circulating supply, folks, is still very low. 8.3 million in circulation for Dash. In the past 24 hours, we have seen Dash go up 1.24% increase. Current price for Dash is $182.59 per Dash, baby. I'm telling you, I like it, and I like it a lot. All right, let's go ahead and get to Ethereum. All right. Ethereum Classic, I should say. ETC is the symbol. Ethereum Classic, ETC. Now, the only difference between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic is that Ethereum Classic is ran by an organization, unlike Ethereum, which is more centralized to Vitalik and his Indian communist boyfriend and all that other shit. But either way, Ethereum Classic, starting to hit the mainstream, was recently announced on Coinbase, and now a fairly decent coin, getting pretty good volume, to say the least, in the trading end. So let's get to Ethereum Classic. Market capitalization, $1.1 billion market cap for Ethereum Classic. The circulating supply is 105 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum has gone up 0.73% increase for Ethereum Classic. The current price right now for Ethereum Classic, ETC, $10.98 per Ethereum Classic. All right, let's get to Zcash. Once again, I like Zcash. Zcash has got the privacy component, as does Monero. But in my opinion, I like Zcash because we got some institutionalist investors in this particular project. And moreover, the low circulation on Zcash. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Zcash right now. Market capitalization is $627 million market cap. And once again, low circulating supply. Circulating supply is 4.9 million. That's it. 4.9 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen Zcash go up 0.44%. Current price for Zcash, baby, is $126.27 per Zcash. Now, I want to remind you, folks, that Zcash has gone up to as high as $800 and change. So, just something to consider once again. Now, let's go ahead and go to 0x. Now, I was commenting on 0x this past Friday. If you would have entertained 0x as an investment on Friday, you would literally be up about 25% on your money. Probably a little more. We saw a major run on 0x. And what have I always said about 0x? It has the potential to take the same trajectory as EOS. And I don't cover EOS because I think it's a bunch of crap. All right? But if you take the two charts, put them together, I personally believe that 0x could potentially take the same type of trajectory as EOS. And lest we forget that EOS has got more in circulation than 0x. And 0x is actually a proven commodity. Why? Because its technology, its blockchain technology, was used in the Paradex exchange that was recently, as far as like 2 or 3 months ago, acquired by Coinbase, which is the largest exchange in America for cryptocurrency right now. So it's only a matter of time. Now, we are seeing some red today in 0x, but that was only after 2 days of double-digit increases percentage-wise. So let's go ahead and take a look at 0x. Symbol is ZRX. The current market capitalization for ZRX is $387 million market capitalization. The circulating supply is 540 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen 0x go down 2.01% decrease. But take a look at the price, folks. Price right now for 0x, symbol ZRX, 71 cents, baby. 71 cents. Oh, man. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at my biggest holding. This is definitely a long-term holding because it's the future of crypto as far as I'm concerned. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, let's go ahead and take a look at QTUM, Quantum. Market capitalization is $347 million market cap. Circulating supply, 88 million in circulation. Now, in the past 24 hours, we have seen QTUM go up almost 2%. Current price for Quantum, QTUM, is $3.95. And I think that we should start seeing a bump up on Quantum, if you want my opinion, man. But once again, $3.95 per QTUM. And since we're getting a little bit late on time, because I was a fucking, 2 minutes late, let's go ahead and take a look at 42 Coin. Now, we have seen a little bit of contraction on 42 Coin. Why? Because as I've suggested, 42 Coin is a long-term investment. It is a hedge against contractions. You all saw, folks, that during the last contraction, we saw 42 Coin go as high as $40,000 a coin. That's because people are starting to recognize if they have a contraction on their hands in crypto to just put that crap in 42 Coin, man. It's better than holding it in Tether because at least during a contraction, if you're holding it in 42 Coin, you could be potentially profiting. But since we are seeing an increase in cryptocurrency throughout the entire market, we have seen it gone down, all right? So let's go ahead and take a look at 42 Coin. 42 Coin, folks. Market capitalization is $1 million. And the circulating supply for 42 Coin, folks, is 42. That's it, 42 coins. In the past 24 hours, we have seen 42 Coin go down about 5%. And it went down tremendously from the 40 grand that we saw it as. Because why? We saw it at 40 grand because people were hedging against the crypto contractions. But right now, since we're seeing a bullish market, current price for 42 Coin is $25,235.71 per 42 Coin. And that concludes the coverage of the financial portion of this broadcast. Let's go ahead and take a look at stocks, shall we? Now, folks, when I called the bullish market in the stocks, what did I say? I said that watch out for tech. Watch out for tech because I think that tech is going to take it on the teeth because, I mean, look at the tech companies that are out here, folks. I mean, the one that I use all the time is Snapchat. When Snapchat first became an initial public offering on the stock market, I was thinking to myself, how the hell is this goddamn thing going to be profitable? How the hell is this goddamn thing going to make billions of dollars and make stockholders happy? It wasn't. I mean, all of y'all that have listened to me for a long time, y'all remember I was talking garbage about Snapchat right when it got on the stock market because how the hell is it going to maintain revenue and continuously have profits? What, selling filters for pictures? Come on! Come on! But what else did I say, folks? I said that I was extremely bullish in the Dow Jones Industrial for year 2018. And boy, folks, the prognosticator of prognosticators strikes again. Now, aside from the tech slumping the NASDAQ, we also have a little bit of fear going on in the foreign markets as it relates to the trade wars that the United States is initiating on people, or I should say countries, that we have an imbalanced trade deal with, which I had been advocating for 10 years, and thank God we have a president that's finally putting some action in that policy. But that's why we're seeing a little negativity in the S&P and the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stock coverage for today. Dow Jones Industrial, once again, up 39.73 points, a percentage increase of 0.15%, closing out the Dow Jones Industrial at 26,486.78 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. We've got the S&P. It is down. It is modestly down, but still down. 1.14 points on the negative side. A percentage decrease of 0.04%. Current price for the S&P, or I should say closing out the S&P at 2,884.43 points for the S&P 500. Let's go ahead and get to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is down, folks, 52.50 points, a percentage decrease of 0.67%, closing out the NASDAQ at 7,735.95 points for the NASDAQ composite. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at commodities. Today, the U.S. dollar it was in the positive, but barely. I don't think it was even significant enough to start moving commodity prices, but we shall see. Let's take a look at WTI sweet crude. Now, we're seeing a little bit of negativity in energy because it seems as if the dispute with Iran isn't causing that much of problems when it comes to supply of oil. And now the market is starting to settle down from its bullish stance that it was taking in energy. But fret not, my investor oil friends. I think that this is just temporary. We've got a lot of posturing going on as it pertains to a lot of different nation states flexing nuts at one another. And obviously, Iran is in that picture. The Middle East is in that picture. So keep your eyes once again on oil, folks. All right, whenever there's some unease or destabilization in the Middle East, this is where you want to look. Let's take a look at WTI. That is the oil that's consumed by America. WTI sweet crude, it is down today 3 cents, a percentage decrease of 0.04%. Current price for WTI is $74.26 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. We've got Brent crude also down today, folks, 9 cents, a percentage decrease of 0.11%. Closing out, or I should say, current price for Brent crude is $83.82 per barrel of Brent crude oil. We've got gasoline down today, 0.43%. Natural gas is up 0.46%, and heating oil down modestly, but all these investors know that the cold is coming. Winter is coming! So anyway, heating oil is down 0.04%. Let's go ahead and get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals! We've got gold. It is up today, $5.50, a percentage increase of 0.46%. Current price for gold is $1,194.10 per troy ounce of gold. We've got silver up today, 10 cents, a percentage increase of 0.67%. Current price for gold is $14.43 per troy ounce of gold. We've got copper. It is up 0.18%, and platinum is up 0.37%. Let's go ahead and get to the agriculture, folks. Grains. Corn is down 0.20%. Wheat is down 0.24%. Oats is up 0.62%. Rough rice is up 0.51%. Soybeans is down 0.06%. Soybean oil is down 0.13%. And canola is down 0.14% decrease on the day for canola. Let's go ahead and get to the softs, shall we? Now, the softs is very interesting. We got very interesting things going on here because we're seeing a lot of increases. And what have I said about most of the softs and the increases? The natural disasters, the hurricanes, the floods, the volcanoes, the tsunamis, the typhoons. This is really what's causing a lot of the increases in the commodities in the soft section. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Cocoa, the base for chocolate, it is up 3.06%. Now, I don't think that there's any natural disasters causing that. I could be wrong. I think that it has a lot to do with Ebola, because lest we forget that cocoa, the majority of it is produced in Africa. So I think that's what's causing the increase in cocoa. And not to mention, we're heading around the holiday time, so maybe that has something to do with it. Let's take a look at coffee. It is up 2.66%. We got sugar. Sugar is up 2.45%. Orange juice, folks, you know it's going up 1.33%. We've got a massive hurricane that is about to turn into a Category 2 that's about to hit Florida, about to hit Georgia, about to hit these areas right here. So that's why you got investors going right at orange juice right now. It is up 1.33%. We've got cotton. It is up 1.91%. Lumber, it is up because obviously we're probably going to see some more devastation relating to this hurricane. Lumber is going to be in demand. It is up 0.91%. Rubber is up 0.94%. And ethanol is up 0.15%. Let's go ahead and get to livestock, shall we? We got live cattle. Live cattle is up 0.08%. We've got cattle feeder. It is up 0.13%. And by God, lean hog on the day is unchanged. That's right, lean hog for the day is unchanged. And that, my friends, is the markets for your ass, all right? I'll take a drink of cola here. Good stuff. Well, folks, we are now in the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And once again, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas, United States time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, baby. And I love being independent now. You're goddamn right. Type this in your browser. Add this to your bookmarks. Add this to your favorites. The following, ghost.report, okay? That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, baby. Ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser, add to your bookmarks, add to your favorites. And lest we forget, folks, that on Ghost.report, we are now putting out articles unearthing the dirt amongst the Democrats, all right? And amongst a bunch of other stuff. So I want to be honest with you, I get more hits on my website for my articles than I do for my show. I'm not even kidding around. I'm not even kidding around. Like when John McCain died, I have an article on there that's titled, John McCain is no war hero, he's a traitor. Man, when he died, that damn thing got like almost 100,000 views. All right, not views, 100,000 visitors. Visitors and views are different. 100,000 visitors within like 2 to 3 days. All right, I'm not even kidding around. Within 2 to 3 days. And not to mention the Beto O'Rourke exclusive, in which we highlight the Texas Democrat golden boy, how his father got caught with cocaine in his dashboard, and of course nothing happened to him, and that his mother pled guilty to the IRS for money laundering. So, you know, in my opinion, it seems, based upon the evidence, in my opinion, that there could be some drug cartel things going on over there. We also got an article highlighting the hypocrisy of the sexual abuser himself, Cory Booker. And we also got an article up there talking about how Christine Blasey Ford, the accuser of Brett Kavanaugh, had a paper in which she wrote about hypnosis to create artificial realities. So that's great. So anyway, go ahead and take a look at that. Spread that around like wildfire. And I do want to say what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. All right, I know that maybe I started off the broadcast a little melancholy, a little grumpy, but hey, you know, I'm a businessman. I got to do this broadcast. You know, I already told you how it is, so regardless, what's going on? And by the way, Follow me right now on my only social media representation on the internet today, and that's on Gab, folks. All right? So if you don't have yourself a free Gab account, well, then get yourself one and follow me under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab. And by the way, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, I'm going to be in this chat room after this broadcast, so come on down. All you've got to do to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room is this. Go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, and click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will private message you back with a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple, okay? Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and take some goddamn chat room shout-outs, shall we, huh? Let's see who's kicking it with us in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. What's going on to Aesthetic Sperm Donor? I don't even want to get into that. We've got Capitalist America, Curly McWhirly, Distilling in the house. What's going on, man? Great Gains, Hans Uberlander. What's going on to Holden Capitalist? Ice Cap in the house. Limousine services down 20%. That's the pet Mexican, you idiot. Shut up! We've got Man Bear Pig. We got Metaform. We got Michael Avenatti. Michael Avenatti. Okay, that's great. We've got Nat in the house. Pepe the Frog. Reverend Ralph in the house. What's going on, man? We got Stagio, Tesla, Cyberheart in the place, and, of course, the God of Rage. What's going on, man? What's going on? And like I said, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, man, then just come on down. Go to my Gab account, Politics Ghost. Click the subscribe button for premium content, and then private message me. Once you do that, let me know your Discord chat name, baby. It's that simple. All right, let me take one more drink of cola, and then let's get into the straight political dope. Because if you're listening to this broadcast, like I've always said, you are listening to the underground, baby. You're listening to the underground. Good stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about, once again, the modern George Washington of modern-day America, the greatest president in American history, and I'm talking about President Trump. Now, the president had a rally on Saturday night, which made the Saturday night great. It was a pretty good Saturday night. You had the Trump rally, then you had some MMA going on throughout the whole night. It was very, very an exciting Saturday night. I mean, even if the McGregor-Khabib fight wasn't on, I mean, isn't it good to have a Saturday night Trump rally? I tell you, man, it's just something about it, the energy. I love it. I'm glad the president is in power. I'll just tell you that. But the reason that he was there, obviously he's rallying for 2018 candidates. He was in Topeka, Kansas. So he's trying to get people out there to vote so we can get this red wave going on in the 2018 midterms. But another reason why he was out there, let's be honest, he was celebrating the huge win by Republicans with the Brett Kavanaugh being brought into the Supreme Court. And moreover, folks, aside from that, it was a big week for the president. I mean, he announced a new trade deal between the United States, Mexico, and Canada, which completely reorganizes the old NAFTA deal so that the United States gets a little something, you know what I mean? And this was a big victory for the president because no one thought that he would be able to renegotiate NAFTA. No one thought he could do any of the things that he's done, let alone get Kavanaugh nominated and passed into the Supreme Court. And let me tell you, this Kavanaugh circus, folks, it has really left a stain in America, to say the least. But even though it has, thank God we've been able to move past it. And Kavanaugh is a part of the Supreme Court. And let's be honest, the Kavanaugh situation, the whole circus, it was a clear attack on conservative values. And you know what's ironic about this attack on conservative values? Because it wasn't about Kavanaugh. I want everybody to realize that it was not about Kavanaugh. It was about the liberal Democratic attack on conservative values. And ironically, you had these Senate Democrats on the Judiciary Committee attempt to redefine a moral standard that they themselves couldn't even live up to. I mean, I have just gabbed out, last week, in which one of the senators on the Democratic side, Senator Kamala Harris, who is supposed to be a 2020 favorite to run for the Democrats, I have got an article of her on Gab in which she aided the hush-hush of the San Francisco Archdiocese child molestation of children. She kept that on the down low. She would not publicize the records, even under a Freedom of Information Act request. So this just goes to show you once again, what have I always told you about Democrats? They're for illegal immigrants, criminals, and the sexualization of children. And I find it ironic that you've got Kamala Harris attempting to put an allegation that's unsubstantiated, uncorroborated in Blasé Ford and putting it at such a serious pedestal when Kamala Harris herself, when she was not only the district attorney of San Francisco, but also the attorney general of California, she didn't think that priests molesting children was that big of a deal. And that's based on her judicial record. How come the mainstream media isn't talking about this? Now, I guess you and I know why the mainstream media aren't talking about it, and that's why I implore you, I beg you all, spread the word about this broadcast, baby, because they're not going to talk about the things, the facts that are discussed on this damn broadcast. And, of course, Cory Booker, another 2020 Democrat favorite to run for president, he is also trying to put this standard, this moral standard, higher than even he can live up to, because I exposed the goddamn article in which he wrote for the Stanford little newspaper that he had in college. He was a disgusting, filthy pervert in his articles, and he was proud of it. He was boasting about it, for Christ's sake. He was boasting about it. And you know what's really ironic? Is that he admits in one of these articles, folks, that he sexually assaulted one of his, quote, girlfriends back when he was 15 years old during the New Year's Eve of 1984. And yet, this stupid cue ball mulatto Jewish asshole has the audacity to get on some kind of a moral soapbox and attempt to raise the moral standard in which not even he can live up to? I mean, folks, this is what the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation circus was all about. It was an attack on conservative values. And I know that everybody right now on the internets are having a big time with the meme of Brett Kavanaugh. I like beer. I still like beer. I get it. But what's unfortunate about it is, folks, is that it makes it seem as if Kavanaugh is some kind of an alcoholic. Now, if Kavanaugh was an alcoholic, do you think that man would look like the way he looks at 53 years old? I mean, I just want you... look, I'm not saying nothing about Alex Jones, but supposedly Alex Jones is like 42 years old. Does that man look like a 42-year-old man to you? If you compare Brett Kavanaugh's face and the lack of lines and creases in Brett Kavanaugh's face and compare it to Alex Jones, who would you think is older? So that's my point. It's obvious, except for these moral wannabes on the left, that Kavanaugh had no goddamn alcohol problem. He was much like everybody else who went to high school and college. All right, especially when you're in college, man, you're free. You're out there. You're quasi living like adults. You know, you get to study, you go to class, and then once you're not studying and go to class, what are you going to do? You're going to go party. And what are people partying with? They're partying with beer. And by the way, Brett Kavanaugh, I don't blame you for liking beer, okay? I like beer, all right? I still like beer. I will always like beer. And by the way, folks, don't you find it ironic? Don't you find it ironic that Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed during Oktoberfest? What a way to celebrate Oktoberfest! I'll fucking drink to that! I'll drink to that! Oh, my God. Anyway, right now as we speak, folks, the president, I think, is having a celebratory swearing in of Brett Kavanaugh at the White House right now. And obviously the reason why the president's doing that is to keep the liberal tears flowing, baby. Keep them flowing. Oh, man, I'm enjoying this. But once again, as I showed you at the beginning of the broadcast, folks, even though we're all laughing at the salt and laughing at the liberal tears, I mean, just think, these people are Americans, folks. These people are this neurotic and this much of a lunatic, and they've got the same freedoms as you, as a law-abiding citizen. So even though I'm having a little bit of satisfaction on seeing the liberal tears continuously flow and the liberal autistic screeching, lest we forget, folks, that these are American people. And they're not going to stop their autistic screeching. They're not going to stop the regurgitation of the talking points. And that's why, just like the president has said throughout most of his rallies, we on the right cannot get complacent. We cannot get complacent, for Christ's sake, man. We have to be as seriously political as the left, if not more serious. And that's why this broadcast took a direction and a turn for the serious, because there ain't no time for trolling. There ain't no time for memeing. There ain't time for this crap, man. We have to understand our position as American people. And we have to understand that this president that's in power, he sacrificed his life, his businesses, his family, so that he could give us, the American people, back the power. Because for the past 35 to 40 years, the power lied in the deep state, the power lied in the bureaucracy. And folks, if we don't hold our position as a government made for the people and by the people, then it will be usurped once again, and we will never get it back. Ever. So once again, folks, I'm really glad that the president right now is having a celebratory swearing in of Brett Kavanaugh at the White House right now to keep the liberal tears flowing. But once again, folks, these people that are acting neurotic, that are having the liberal tears, are they ever going to grow up? Are they ever going to realize that they need to stop acting like obnoxious assholes? Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, folks, I am really glad that Brett Kavanaugh is a part of the Supreme Court. And I'm glad that these liberals attempted to character assassinate this man. Because once again, do you think Brett Kavanaugh, do you think that he's going to be unbiased in his rulings after the political trash that was thrown at him by the left? Do you think that he's going to have compassion for any left-leaning type of supposed cases that could be in front of the Supreme Court? I don't think so. And I think that you dumbasses shot yourselves in the foot by overplaying this ridiculous hand that you morons thought that you could play. All right? I mean, you dumbass Democrats were playing an ace-king. You're playing as if you got an ace-king offsuit, when in actuality you had a deuce-7 offsuit, okay? You suck. You overplayed it. You got called. And I think that you've galvanized the right. And I'm not even joking, folks. I think this Brett Kavanaugh situation has galvanized the right. Even those on the right that were anti-Trump are realizing the seriousness of going out to the polls this next month in 2018 midterms and making sure that we cause a red wave that'll shut these anti-American leftist Democrats up for good. And I can't wait. I can't freaking wait, for Christ's sake. Anyway, the president today, he also had a speech. He was speaking to the International Association of Chief of Police and their annual convention in Orlando today. And, of course, the liberal media blasted the president because he was making comments to the chief of police that, hey, look, we need to make America safer. We need to make America great again. And the president blasted Chicago specifically because of the high crime, because of the killings and the shootings. But the president did emphasize that figures when it comes to violent crimes are going down in America. I mean, if you're in a major inner city, you probably don't recognize those figures going down, but they're going down. And the president also emphasized that people that are cop killers, and let me tell you, ever since Obama was in office and kind of stoked this hatred for police, because look, I'm going to be honest with you, I know police are human, and I know police make mistakes, but I would implore those that are minorities, specifically black, stop acting the way you act when it comes to police. Has anyone ever seen the World Star Hip Hop or whatever, a YouTube video in relation to a black man in a confrontation with the police? I mean, just the way they act, just the way they talk to police, it's as if the instigation of confrontation, for the most part, comes from the blacks. And they refuse to oblige cops' requests. And the reason I say this is because even if the cop is a bad cop, even if the cop is falsely arresting you, don't add to the charges, you dumb idiot, by sitting there acting a fool, justifying a restraining situation or assault on an officer or whatever. I mean, you do know that if you just go to jail and you're wrongfully imprisoned, that cop could be very seriously, if not reprimanded, demoted, and or fired. But most black men, and look, I'm going to be honest, many of the, I'm not saying all of them, there are some where it was really unjustified, but I mean, I'm sure we could find unjustified deaths of white and Hispanic and Asian people as well. But I'm going to be honest, whenever I see a confrontation with a black man and the police, what do you usually see? Man, I didn't do nothing, man. Throw your hands up. Throw them up now. Man, I'm just going to walk away, man. I ain't going to. Stay there. Stay there. Put your hands up, man. I ain't going, no. I'm going over here, man. I ain't going, no. I mean, you all see it, man. You all see it. Now, I don't know why they do this. I don't know if they think that they're being a tough guy, if they are thinking that they're going against authority. I don't know what it is. But, folks, I'm going to be the first one to tell you this. If you've got a crooked cop, if you think that you're wrongfully being jailed, if you think you're wrongfully being prosecuted, or you're not prosecuted, you're going to be wrongfully jailed because you don't get prosecuted until you go to court, then just shut your mouth, don't say anything, all right, and then just fight it out in court. Now, is it a big pain in the ass? Sure it is. It sucks. But wouldn't you rather be alive and being able to fight it in court than to sit here and not oblige a cop who is armed, okay? Who is armed and who could potentially use deadly force on you if it looks as if that you're going for something. And look, I'm going to be honest. This is not a racial thing. It comes down to complying with police. And look, I've run into some jerk-off police in my day. Don't get me wrong, all right? But I still oblige the police. I still get... you can obviously be in opposition to what the cop is doing. You could be vocal against what the cop is doing. But once you start cursing you lose, believe it or not. Because believe it or not, a cop is not really supposed to curse at you. But if you curse back, then there is no case. Because you can literally file a report against a police officer that was cursing because, believe it or not, that's against the law. Now, you do see a lot of people curse at officers on World Star Hip Hop, and the officers don't do anything because the officers are surrounded by people that hate them. But let's say you're in the middle of a regular street, and the cop comes up to you and you don't like it, and you say, "Get the fuck away from me, you fucking pig!" Well, because you said it in public, and people could be offended, and there's women and children around, you can get arrested for that. Believe it or not. Okay? Believe it or not. So do not curse at an officer, even if they curse at you. And if they curse at you, say, "Hey, look, I'm offended by that language. I can't believe that you talk that way," and make a big deal about it. And then the cop's going to fucking catch himself and realize, oh my God, this can be used against me in court. That sort of thing. So that's why I'm just trying to tell you folks, it's easier to just oblige the cop, and if you're wrongfully jailed, then fight it out in court. And believe me, I know it's a pain in the ass. I know that you may have to pay for, you may have to pay for some goddamn attorneys or whatever the case might be. But let me tell you this. If you are found innocent, not only can you go and report that officer for falsely arresting you, but you could also, folks, take that officer to court in civil court personally if you can find any kind of an inkling in a preponderance of the evidence. It doesn't need, when you take people to civil court, you don't even need a reasonable doubt. You just need a preponderance of the evidence that shows that there was an element of discrimination towards you by this officer because a court of law either threw out the damn case or found you not guilty. And you can take that officer to court in a civil trial, all right, and literally sue his ass. But nobody talks about this. You see what I'm saying? What everybody does is right off the bat, they start cursing at the cop, they start talking garbage about the cop, etc. So that's why I'm just trying to tell you folks, in my personal opinion, it's better just to oblige the officer. It's better just to go, whatever it is, even if you're falsely being arrested, do not add charges, because that's what they want. They want to add charges to you. All right? But now that I gave that soliloquy out of the way, in aggregate, we need the police. We need the police because I want to be honest with you folks, especially if you live in a big city, it is a dangerous jungle in the city. And it doesn't matter what city you live in, most major cities are ran by liberal governments. And I don't think it's an accident that Democrats run the major cities, and these major cities have high crimes. Democrats talk a lot about being anti-gun, but if you take a look at Chicago, which has the most strictest gun laws in the United States, and yet take a look at all the violent gun crime that comes out of there, folks. I mean, that's what I'm telling you. You have to understand, without police officers, this goddamn whole American metropolis, every American metropolis would literally be escaping from L.A. the movie. I'm not kidding. And I'm glad the president is emphasizing that there should be a death penalty when it comes to anyone who kills cops. And the reason we're seeing a lot of cops' deaths as of late, take a look at the statistics. Take a look at the statistics since 2015 to now. And lest we forget, it was 2015 in which Obama himself was stoking racial agitation amongst black folks and police. And ever since Obama stoked that fire, it's continued to rage. And cops have been getting killed at an astronomical rate, and it's not right. Okay? And I agree with the president. If you kill a cop in cold blood, man, you should go to death. You should be in the death penalty, and vice versa. If a cop is found guilty of purposely killing somebody, he too should be sentenced to death. Because we give our lives and we allow these police to be the authority. And if they're going to abuse their authority to the point in which they think they can kill people, well, then they themselves deserve the death penalty. And that's how we keep everything straight and narrow. But once again, I agree with the president on this. We're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot of cop killing. And I attribute this directly to Obama and his administration and his racial agitation. Him, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, all these people who are stoking this. And by the way, I have to agree with the president's stop and frisk policy in high crime cities. You know, it worked in New York City. And let's be honest. I mean, there has to be some level of direction with stop and frisk. And I'm tired of people saying that we shouldn't racial profile. I mean, folks, I think it's good for racial profiling. And why? Because the statistics of crime match the racial profiling. I mean, there's nothing racial about the statistics, all right? More black folks commit violent crime than any other race in this country. Okay? And then the second violent group of people is white folks. But you as a cop, who are you going to stop and frisk? Are you going to stop and frisk a family? Are you going to stop and frisk some schmuck that looks like harmless? You're going to stop and frisk these assholes that think that they just came out of a Snoop Dogg video. You're going to stop and frisk assholes that think that they just came out of La Raza, you know, or just came out of Colors, the movie. I mean, this is what we need. I mean, you know, because these people are up to no good. And other people that need to be stopped and frisked are people that just walk around and that are over the age of 24. They just walk around with backpacks on. I fucking hate that shit. I fucking hate that shit. You got these older guys just walking around at night with fucking backpacks on. Those are the assholes also that need to be stopped and frisked. And look, you've got the lamestream media, I mean, getting pissed off because the president is literally speaking this way at the International Association of Chief of Police. And I think that the president is right on the money with this. I think the president is right on the money. Emphasizing death penalty for cop killers and, emphasizing the stop and frisk policy in high crime cities. And I don't see nothing wrong with racial profiling. I really don't. I really don't. I mean, I hate when black folks say, man, I was in a white neighborhood, man, they pulled me over, man, I didn't do nothing, man. I gave my license, man, gave him my insurance, man, and he said I told him I didn't do nothing, man. They just ran and they let me go, but they did it because I was a black man. Hey, you should be happy that the police are trying to stop crime before it happens. All right, and look, if you're upset that you feel that you're racial profiled, then instead of bitching about the police, black people, why don't you start talking to your own people? And you know, I hate to bring up Bill Cosby again, but Bill Cosby was probably one of the only black celebrities that truly tried to go into the black ghettos and say, hey, boy, don't fucking sag your pants. Hey, boy, if you're going to have yourself a kid, become a father and raise that kid. You know, proper values. Y'all remember that? I remember that very vividly. And once Bill Cosby went into the ghetto in an attempt to try to tell black folks, hey, stop acting like a bunch of ghetto-fied gangster rap pieces of shit, and it's time to have some integrity for yourselves. That's when we heard these allegations against Bill Cosby, which unfortunately culminated in his imprisonment. Now, is he guilty? Is he not guilty? I don't know. But I find it funny that all these allegations come from the 70s and the 80s, And they didn't pop up until after 2010. So, I'm just saying, folks, and the only thing Bill Cosby was doing at that time was going around the black ghettos and having meetings, town hall meetings with black folks, telling them how it is. And some of these black folks didn't like it. Some of these black folks didn't like that Bill Cosby was telling them to raise their fucking pants and act like a father and appreciate family and stop acting like a bunch of ghetto-fied goddamn thugs. They didn't like that shit. They didn't like it. And you know who else didn't like it? I'm sure the Democrats didn't like it, because it behooves the Democrats to condone this type of activity. Because, as I've always stated, if there's more crime, if there's more poverty, if there's more people in jail, that means there's more bureaucrats. And who wants to grow the bureaucracy, man? It's the socialists, it's the communists, it's the Democrats, it's the leftists. They're the only ones that want to create system after system after system. Why? Because they're a bunch of totalitarian freaks. Anyway, once again, the president had a speech today at the International Association of Chief of Police annual convention in Orlando. And guess who he took with him on this trip? Guess who the president took with him? He took none other than Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein with him. Oh, man. And by the way, the president states that he has no plans to fire Rod Rosenstein. He says he's got no plans to fire Rod Rosenstein. And as I stated, why do you think he's doing this? Why do you think he has no plans to fire Rod Rosenstein? Because I think, in my opinion, the conspirators of this grand conspiracy involving the Department of Justice, the FBI, and other agencies, I think these people are trying to make Rod Rosenstein the fall guy. Because let's be honest, do you honestly believe that this four-eyed fucking disgusting weasel-toothed jerk, this legalese nerd, Rod Rosenstein, do you actually think that this guy has leadership capabilities to be able to organize a coup? Fuck no. Who the hell would listen to this dork? Are you kidding me? Who the hell would listen to this idiot? Of course not. Of course not. And you see, that's why the president, in my opinion, has been trying to kind of send a message to Rod Rosenstein, probably even talk to Rod Rosenstein and said, hey, look, they've already informed me about everything, because he's the president. He's got to know everything. And I'm sure the president's telling him that, look, you've got McCabe, Comey, all these guys. You've got them all out here trying to suggest that it was you. That it was you that was organizing this mass coup. And you are going to be the fall guy of this situation unless Rod Rosenstein, you come on my side and you start implicating or maybe talking or, I don't know, doing something in relation to stopping these people from making you the fall guy. And moreover, hey, Rod, how about telling Robert Mueller to fuck off with this witch hunt? How about that? How about that, Rod Rosenstein? And in my personal opinion, I personally believe this is what this is all about. I personally believe that Rod Rosenstein, the reason he's staying on is because now he's got his hand caught in the conspiratorial cookie jar. And, you know, these people that are a part of this grand conspiracy, they want to blame it on him, and he doesn't want to go down for it. So at this point in time, I think that the president has sat him down and said, hey, look, these people are trying to frame you. I know it ain't you, but, you know, it's time to start you giving up some of these people. It's time for you to wind down this Robert Mueller garbage that you put forth. Because lest we forget, it was Rod Rosenstein that appointed Robert Mueller. So let's see what happens. I mean, in my opinion, after the president taking Rod Rosenstein to this the police chief convention, I personally believe that Rod Rosenstein is now going to I guess, direct Robert Mueller to wind down his goddamn investigation? I mean, that's my call. I mean, I'm making this prognostication now. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised here in the next couple of weeks if Mueller just says, all right, we're done with the investigation. No collusion. Because there is no collusion, folks. 2 years this goddamn Robert Mueller investigation has been going on. Almost $30 million spent, and yet no collusion between Russia and Trump. Not even a hint of it. If anything, folks, like I was talking to you about on Friday, the Democrats are the ones that have the collusion with Russia. I mean, we talked about how an FBI lawyer testified in front of a congressional committee stating that FBI met with lawyers from the Democrat Party so that they could feed them information. So in essence, folks, before the FISA warrant was even put forth for Carter Page and others within the Trump campaign in 2016, before the damn FISA warrant, the FBI was meeting with Democrat lawyers to gather information from the Democrat lawyers. And where did the Democrat lawyers get this information? Folks, they went as far as sending somebody to the Ukraine to meet with these characters that Christopher Steele from Fusion GPS gathered to exchange this information. I mean, lest we forget, Hillary Clinton and the Democrats admitted paying for the Russian dossier. And the Russian dossier cost, what, 15, 20 million bucks? Whatever it was, I think 15 million bucks. And all it was a bunch of nonsense. I mean, they literally pulled that PP story from a fan fiction from 4chan. I mean, you have to understand, folks, right there, what I just described to you is FISA warrant fraud by the FBI. And somebody's got to be held accountable for that. Somebody's got to be held accountable that the FBI was talking to the Democratic Party lawyers to get dirt on another candidate from another party in the middle of a presidential campaign. That is unprecedented. That is unprecedented, folks. And this is what makes this very dangerous. And, of course, the mainstream media isn't talking about this. The mainstream media isn't talking about this whatsoever. But we shall see what happens, right? I'm making the call right now. I would not be surprised to see Robert Mueller, special counsel. What is it? It is October 8, 2018. I wouldn't be surprised if it decides that it's going to wind down here in the next couple of weeks. If Robert Mueller knew what was good for him, instead of politicizing this goddamn stupid witch hunt, he would wind this down right before the election so that there is no meddling by Robert Mueller and his special counsel, because that's who's meddling right now. I mean, everybody's worried about, Russia and China meddling into our elections. Robert Mueller is meddling into our elections by continuing this witch hunt. And it's got to stop. All right? It's got to stop. And we, those of us on the right, we have to continuously push the truth, not narratives, the truth. And the truth is that the Democrat lawyers met with the FBI prior to the FISA warrant was issued on Carter Page, and that, folks, is FISA warrant fraud by the FBI. Was the FISA court told that FBI agents met with Democrat lawyers for the evidence used in the FISA warrant? Absolutely not. How come the media isn't talking about this? I wonder why. Anyway, folks, let's see what happens, huh? Let's see what happens. Anyway, I've got some more news to get into, folks. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this crash, this limo crash that happened in New York this weekend. The worst car crash in 9 years happened in New York this weekend. A limo carrying 20 people passed a stop sign at a rapid speed and, for whatever reason, struck a parked 2015 Toyota Highlander, killing all 20 people in the damn limo. Now, right away when you hear this, it's like, oh man, this is a horrible story, Ghost. What a horrible tragedy. And you know, I would say the same thing, folks, but I am not one who just looks at something and take it for face value. Now, I want to be honest with you, folks. I have not had enough time to investigate what I'm about to tell you, so I'm telling you so that maybe you can investigate what I'm about to say. Now, it's a major tragedy that 20 people that were in this limo died when, for whatever reason, this limo was traveling at a high rate of speed and struck a parked 2015 Toyota Highlander. Now, according to reports, the limo had whizzed past a stop sign, then went right into this parked 2015 Toyota Highlander. But that doesn't make sense to me. You know, that didn't make sense to me, so I dug. I dig deep. I try to investigate, folks. You know how it is. And let me just tell you what I found out, okay? Now, first of all, who owns the limo, okay? Well, who owns the limo is somebody by the name of Prestige Limousine Services. Now, the owner of Prestige Limousine Services is a man by the name of Shahed Hussein. Shahed Hussein. Now, Shahed Hussein is a very interesting character, folks, okay? He's a 62-year-old who has been very, very involved with black operations and deep state type of operations. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, folks, back in 2002, okay, he began to aid the FBI after he pleaded guilty for federal fraud charges and decided to help the FBI. And this help ended up jailing 2 terrorist suspects. Now, if you take a look at this 2002 informant, this informant relationship that he got into the FBI with, you will realize that these people in which he testified against were terrorists. And this was right after 9/11/2001. Now, I have yet to see the actual court documents relating to the details of the 2002 convictions of these 2 terrorists in which Shahed Hussein was an informant for. But this is not the only guy, this is not the only black operation that he conducted for the FBI. I found some court records that show that the federal prosecutors in 2006 said that Hussein provided substantial assistance when he testified in a drug and fraud case involving 12 people. This is not all, folks. Have y'all ever heard of the Newburgh 4? Now, if you're not familiar with the Newburgh 4, let me let you in on this. There was a documentary on HBO highlighting the Newburgh 4. Now, the Newburgh 4, folks, was 4 black men from an impoverished city that was, and according to the movie and according to many, were entrapped by this man, Shahed Hussein. Because for whatever reason, Shahed Hussein went into this town touting that he had hundreds of thousands of dollars and was willing, and he just went up to people who were willing to listen. From what I understand, found 4 black men that were willing to listen to whatever, so long as there was money. And he entrapped these 4 black men for supposedly wanting to shoot down airliner jets, commercial airliner jets from in the sky with surface-to-air missiles. You know, those ones they use in Afghanistan, surface-to-air jet missiles. Now, folks, this is not the only case that he was involved in as well. He was involved in another terrorist case in Pittsburgh. And I could go on and on about this. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because, folks, this man, Shahed Hussein, was used to entrap people. So that, remember the War on Terror? Remember the Bush Jr. War on Terror? It continued with Obama. They had to justify why we were under such totalitarian rule. Remember, I know that the media likes to forget this, but lest we forget that Obama, even during Obama's time, this man jailed journalists. He jailed journalists, for Christ's sake, because any journalist that dared to get a little too close to what was really going on in these black operations, the War on Terror, they ended up either getting jailed or dead. I mean, even a left-leaning liberal journalist by the name of Michael Hastings was conveniently killed when he was starting to go into an investigation that led him to show that the Obama administration was potentially doing this type of crap. And why are they doing this? Why would they use Shahed Hussein? Why would they use this guy? They were using this guy to justify the expenditures of all the War on Terror. I mean, lest we forget, folks, take a look at how much we have put on the national debt during Bush Jr. and Obama's tenure combined. This was the War on Terror, and we had to keep justifying it. How do you justify it? Hey, look, we busted these guys in Newburgh. There's 4 guys. They were planning to shoot down commercial airplanes, and this is what he did. He entrapped people, thinking that these people were. I mean, he literally went up to anybody who would listen, and entrap people with the intention of them being a part of Al-Qaeda, and they were supposedly going to conduct some major operation in the United States. So anyway, why do I bring this up, folks? Because let me continue to explain this. Shahed Hussein, after all the FBI supposed informant activity that he conducted. When you're an FBI informant, folks, you get paid. You get paid when you're an FBI informant. Shahed Hussein utilized his FBI informant money working for the FBI to buy Crest Inn suites and the cottages in Gansvoort, or whatever the fuck it is, Gansvoort. Now, the address to Prestige Limousine goes right to Crest Inn Suites. Now, a journalist finally got to Crest Inn Suites to talk to some people that are actually living out of this motel. And according to the people, he said that they would park the limousines there, and it's as if Hussein didn't even really care about anything other than getting his money. So he utilized his FBI informant money to put himself into business in the United States. Now, what does this have to do with the limo crash? Well, folks, I would strongly advise you all to look into who was in this crash, the 20 people. Because if you want my opinion, I think, and I'm speculating, and I look, we have been trying to do as much research as we can as the information has come out relating to this particular incident. But in my opinion, I think that whoever was in this limousine, 1, 2, maybe some of the 20 people that were killed, were possibly, in my opinion, and we have yet, I mean, we've got one person that we're looking at that could potentially fit this particular profile. But I call on all of you that are listening, look up the 20 people that have been killed in this limo accident. And if these 20 people, if any of them are connected to black operative military or intelligence, then this is why the goddamn crash happened. Okay? Now, one person that we were looking at specifically was a man by the name of Axel, what's his name? Axel, here, I'm trying to look forward here. Oh, my bad, folks. I'm trying to look for his last name. I think it's Steenberg. I think it's Axel Steenberg, one of these guys. Anyway, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because this is the only guy that we have found so far of the 20 people. Axel Steenberg. He works for something called Global Foundries. He's the senior integrations technician at Global Foundries. Now, Global Foundries is the world's first full-service semiconductor foundry with a truly global footprint. Launched in March of 2009, the company has quickly achieved scale as one of the largest foundries in the world, providing a unique combination of advanced technology and manufacturing to more than 250 customers. With operations in Singapore, Germany, and the United States, Global Foundries is one of the only foundry that offers the flexibility and security of manufacturing centers spanning 3 continents. The company's 300 mm fabs and 200 mm fabs provide a full range of process technologies from the mainstream to the leading edge. The global manufacturing footprint is supported by major facilities for research, development, and design located near hubs of semiconductor activities in the United States, Europe, and Asia. Now this is where it gets tricky, because Global Foundries is owned by Mudbalda. I don't even know how to fucking pronounce it. It's Mubadala. Mubadala Development Company. Now, if you look up Mubadala Investment Company, or Development Company, Mubadala Development Company, what you'll find is that this is an exclusively United Arab Emirates investment company. UAEA. Okay? UAEA. Now, the reason that I'm focusing on Axel Steenberg is because Axel Steenberg, if you've ever seen a picture of this guy looks like he's either straight military or black operations. I mean, this guy's bald. He's got a scar on his face. I mean, he looks black operative. And that's why I'm just speculating. I'm not saying anything. But what are the odds, folks? What are the odds of this limo company belonging to this guy who did black operative work for the FBI to basically entrap people who, for money, would either do one or two things who they thought they were doing for Al-Qaeda, so that they can claim that Al-Qaeda was conducting operations in the United States. I mean, that's what he was. He was a handler of very easily manipulative people. And because he would entrap people, the FBI would come in and bust these people, and the FBI and the United States and the media would justify, hey, look at these 4 people we found in Newburgh. They were working with Al-Qaeda. They wanted to blow up things in the sky. I mean, I've been trying to look for the 2002 informant work that Hussein did in relation of convicting 2 terrorists, and I can't find it. So anyway, folks, I personally believe that this man, Hussein, this Shahed Hussein, in my opinion, is a black operative worker for the United States. And the reason that his limo conveniently, and lest we forget, folks, it was going at a high rate of speed, past a stop sign, and hit a parked car. Okay? 20 people dead. And the reason I find this very funny is because, once again, Shahed Hussein is the owner of Prestige Limousine, and Shahed Hussein is the guy who was the entrapper for wannabe loser terrorists in this country who basically wanted money more than anything else. They were willing to sell out their country for money. I mean, he was entrapping people to justify why we had the Patriot Act, to justify why these funds needed to go to the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, to justify why we needed the funds for the war on terror. You all get this? Why do you think every time I've broadcasted about the international community, I've told you that ISIS is no longer going to hit targets relating to Americans or America, and that ISIS is going to be a thorn on the side of our foes? How do you think I know this? I knew this because, folks, we created Al-Qaeda. We created this war on terror. We created these Jihadis, man. We created them during the Russian-Afghan war, the Mujahideen, man. Look up the Mujahideen. This is where it all comes from. All these battle-hardened fighters that fought against the Russians, they are CIA operatives, for Christ's sake, man. Now, why do they want to kill any of these people? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, the people in the True Capitalist Radio chat room, the inner circle, look these 20 people up. And I'm willing to bet all the money I've got right now that one of these people is directly connected to military black operations or intelligence. And the reason that damn car ended up being the car that ended up killing 20 people, in my opinion, is because somebody on there needed to be eliminated. And by the way, folks, where is Shahed Hussein? Where the hell is he? Oh, a week or two before this actual accident, he took off to Pakistan. Oh, now he's in Pakistan. Do you think he's ever going to come back again? No. So, I strongly advise you, folks, the 20 people that died in this limo, try to find out who they are. Like I said, I suspected that it's Axel Steenberg. And the reason I think that it's Axel Steenberg is because look at the guy, man. The guy looks black operative. I mean, you can just see the battle hardness in his face. He's a bald guy. He's got a scar over his eye. The guy looks like he's a black operative, in my opinion. I mean, this is unsubstantiated. Remember, I'm just bringing this up to the forefront because people need to know the truth. Things like this sometimes don't happen. Sometimes they're meant to happen. Anyway, folks, we are now in the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we go on with anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house, and we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas U.S. time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I love being independent now. All right, type this in your browser, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites, the following, ghost.report. All right? That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, baby. All right? Spread it across the internet and throughout the world. Ghost.report. All right? Ghost.report. And by the way, I'd like to ask everybody to please follow me on my only social media that I have on the internets, and that's on Gab, folks. All right, if you don't have yourself a free Gab account, well then get yourself one right now and follow me under the name Politics Ghost. All right, all one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab. And once again, I want to say what's going on to everybody who's in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. What's going on, baby? How you doing? I will be in the True Capitalist Radio chat room after this broadcast. If you want to come kick it with us, well then come on down, baby. Come on down. All you've got to do is the following. Go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and click the subscribe button for premium content. Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will private message you back with a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple, so come on down! Let me give some shout-outs to who's in the True Capitalist Radio chat room right now. What's going on to the God of Rage? What's going on to Tesla Cyberheart? What's going on to Stagio? Sperm banks hate him, one weird trick. What the hell does that mean? We got Reverend Ralph in the house, Pepe the Frog. We've got Nat in the place, Michael Avenatti. We've got Metaform, Man Bear Pig, Ice Cap, Holden Capitalist. We've got Hans Ubelanda. We've got Great Gains Distilling in the house, Curly McWhirly. We've got Capitalist America, Billy Cossack in the house, and Aquilian. Aquilian in the house. What's going on this Monday? How you doing? Hopefully you don't have a bad case of the Mondays. I think I had a little bit of it. Now I've kind of gotten away from it. Everything's all good. But anyway, folks, thank you all for being a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room. And before I move on with the rest of the broadcast, I want to remind everybody, if you do appreciate the content that is being broadcasted right here on the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, then go to Ghost.Report, I should say. Go to Ghost.Report right now and click the Cryptocurrency Wishing Well tab, baby. Click the Cryptocurrency Wishing Well tab and throw some cryptocurrency in there and make a wish. Aside from all your wishes coming true, you will also be aiding the continuity of this broadcast, baby, because let me tell you, they're trying to stop us. They're trying to stop us. They know that this broadcast is politically dangerous, and they're trying to stop us. So if you do appreciate the content, by all means, take a look at the Cryptocurrency Wishing Well, throw something in there, and all your dreams will come true, and you will sustain the continuity of this broadcast. And by the way, I know I said that they would be out today. They're going to be out tomorrow, okay? So I'm going to be mailing out those that made more than 25 USD throws into the Cryptocurrency Wishing Well. I'm sending you some production notes. Sending you some production notes, baby. And that goes for everybody else. If you throw more than $25 in USD crypto, $25 USD in crypto, I will send you some production notes that I handwrite every fucking show myself. So I'm going to be sending those out tomorrow, okay? I'm going to be sending those out tomorrow. Remember, I'm a busy man, baby. I'm a busy man. Anyway, before we move on to the next subject, I do want to recant what we went over. Worst car crash in 9 years happened in New York this weekend. A limo carrying 20 people just literally speeded past a stop sign at a rapid rate of speed and struck a parked 2015 Toyota Highlander, killing all 20 people. The owner of the limo, Prestige Limo Company, owned by Shahed Hussein, who was an FBI informant. We've talked about all the cases that he was involved in, specifically the Newburgh 4. HBO movie was made about this particular incident, in which everyone involved claims that the FBI framed these poor black folk. That these poor black folk wouldn't have done anything had Shahed Hussein not claimed that he was some rich millionaire throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars around, you know, saying that, look, all you need to do is you do this, all right? You do this, I'll give you this money from Al-Qaeda, okay? Okay. And lo and behold, these people were, they were prosecuted as terrorists. I'm telling you that right now. I don't know what the hell. All I'm asking you to do is look into these 20 people that are dead. Now, I've got the God of Rage, who's a pretty good investigator, to say the least. stating that Axel Steenberg, aside from him working from the company that we described, he's also studied nanotechnology. And lest we forget, that's heavily invested by the CIA. So look, I'm not saying specifically this happened because of Axel Steenberg, but we need to do a complete and thorough background check on everybody that was in this car, because in my opinion, somebody was in that car that was meant to be eliminated. And why would they use Shahed Hussein? Because this is what he does. And I'm telling you, where is Shahed Hussein right now? He left for Pakistan a week or two ago, right before this goddamn car crash. Huh? Isn't that great? And once again, Shahed Hussein, what was he? He was a guy that would entrap people for terrorism, for the FBI, so that the government could justify their budgets on the war on terror, both in Bush Jr. and in Obama's day. Ah, good God, man. I'm telling you. And look, we're going to talk about this Wednesday as well, because we're going to do some intense investigating on everybody who was in this limo. We're going to do some more investigating on a bunch of stuff. So look, right now is just the preliminary facts that we have at this point in time. But what are the odds, folks, especially if you're somebody who's a mathematician, what are the odds that Shahed Hussein, of all the people that are out here, an FBI informant who was used to entrap people to justify arrests in the name of the war on terror, to justify budgets of the war on terror? I mean, come on, man. This guy, Shahed Hussein, I want to remind everybody, he used his FBI informant money to buy his businesses that he currently owns. I mean, come on! So I'm speculating right now, in my opinion, whoever was in that car, somebody was meant to be eliminated. Anyway, folks, let's continue on, folks. Let's do something a little bit lighthearted but just as serious here, okay? Now, you all know that this is Christopher Columbus Day, and if you try to say that in front of any of these social justice warriors, all you're going to hear is, "Ree! Ree!" Well, folks, guess what? Guess what? Columbus, Ohio is not celebrating Columbus Day this year, huh? That's how fucking social justice warrior cucked this goddamn country is getting, for Christ's sake. That Columbus, Ohio refuses to celebrate Columbus Day. You know, I mean, just give me a goddamn break. Come on! Are we getting this cucked, for Christ's sake? Yeah, I mean, you know, I want you all to know that the president earlier this morning tweeted something about Columbus Day, and every social justice warrior got triggered, man. Whee! What? How dare you say something about Columbus? He was a madman. He killed Native Americans. How dare you? I'm not even joking. Huffington Post posted an article today titled, "Columbus Day is a monument to white supremacy." I mean, man, this is really not funny. This is what's being promoted by the Huffington Post. I mean, you could look this article up. It was up today. Columbus Day is a monument to white supremacy. Jesus Christ. Hey, did you all know that Christopher Columbus was fucking Italian? He was Italian! Now, you see what's going on, folks? Now, if you're Italian, you're white supremacist. And not to mention, let's just be historically accurate. Aside from Christopher Columbus setting sail and finding the New World, and he was Italian, guess who funded that voyage? It wasn't the Italians, it was the Spanish. The Spaniards. All right? The Castile. The Castile royal family. So, how the Huffington Post can write such a ridiculous article is unbelievable. I mean, look it up, folks. Columbus Day is a monument to white supremacy by the Huffington Post. How do they figure that's white supremacy? I mean, the Spaniards funded an Italian to find the New World. How is that a monument to white supremacy? What kind of social justice warriorhood are we going down, for Christ's sake? And by the way, I'm tired of hearing about the Huffington Post. All right? I mean, lest we forget, if you want my opinion, you want to know what the Huffington Post is? Do you know a woman by the name of Arianna Huffington? Arianna Huffington is the person who created the Huffington Post, okay? Now, Arianna Huffington is some fucking immigrant broad who happened to have been married to a Republican. And I want you all to know that she was all gung-ho about being Republican when she was married to this guy, but it came out that this Republican that she was married to was a queer, okay? And you like to take it up the ass, for Christ's sake, all right? All right, now, I'm not joking. Now, once Arianna Huffington's Republican husband came out of the closet and said that he likes his prostate massage with man meat, all of a sudden, Arianna Huffington decided that she was a leftist all of a sudden. And if you want my opinion, because she was such a political figure as far as a commentator was concerned during the 90s and in the early 2000s, AOL decided to pay for her little bullshit little Huffington Post, the equivalent of a bunch of WordPress article bullshit, for like, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars. And you want to know what that is? That was a payment to Arianna Huffington so that she could stay a leftist and make Republicans look like idiots. All right? I'm not kidding. I think that was a payoff to Arianna Huffington. Look, you can look all this shit up for yourself if you think I'm lying. That's who created the Huffington Post. Arianna Huffington, man. She married a Republican. She thought she was the Republican for the longest time. Her Republican husband came out that he liked having his prostate massaged by meatbags. She decided to divorce the husband and all of a sudden became some leftist hero. And now a goddamn online publication with her name on it is making fucking dumbass articles that are titled Columbus Day is a monument to white supremacy. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Enough is enough. All right? And by the way, Huffington is a fucking immigrant, man. She can't even speak English correctly. Enough is enough, all right? I'm tired of all this racial BS. That this is white supremacy, this is that. I mean, come on, man. We're not celebrating Columbus because he was a good guy. We're celebrating Columbus because he had the balls, all right, to sail the completely opposite direction in hopes of getting to the East Indies. I mean, you understand that, right? I mean, that's why we're celebrating Christopher Columbus. Not because he slaughtered Indians, not because of who he was, because he had the balls to go the opposite direction in hopes of hitting India. But instead, what he found, which he named the West Indies, was nothing more than the New World, the United States, South America, etc. He kept sailing, and he thought, and look, there's real reasons why he thought this. I mean, just a side note, he married a woman who was Portuguese. Now, the Portuguese were maritime geniuses. I mean, the whole reason why we have the level of cartography up to that point is because of these down-ass Portuguese shipmen like Magellan and all these people. Well, his wife's father was not only a cartographer but also a sailor. And she inherited all these works and all the documents in which her father, who had sailed all across the Atlantic, going out into the African Horn, going as far west as he can, she inherited all this shit, and Christopher Columbus read it. He had access to it. That's why he was so certain that if he continued to sail the opposite direction, that he would meet India. Because that's why he wanted to get That's why he did it. Look, folks, I know there's a lot of people out there that fucking believe that Christopher Columbus set sail so he could prove the earth wasn't flat. That was bullshit, okay? Aristotle figured out that the world was round 2,000 years ago, you fucking idiots. And not to mention, that story of Christopher Columbus setting sail because he thought the world was not flat comes from a book. It comes from American literature. It comes from the guy who wrote Rip Van Winkle, all right? You know Rip Van Winkle, he goes to sleep, all of a sudden, like fucking a whole bunch of years pass by? Yeah, that story. The guy who wrote that story wrote the story that Christopher Columbus set sail to prove the earth wasn't flat. Bullshit. The reason Christopher Columbus set sail for the New World, or for the East, or a new path to India, because that's why he set sail. He wanted a new path to India. Why would Christopher Columbus want a new path to India? Because he got tired of dealing with the middlemen in the Middle East. Hence, why we get the term middleman in the Middle East. Why do they call it the Middle East? Because you had to deal with these Arab traders who had first access to the Chinese silks, you know, to the Indian spices. I mean, that's what was so sought after in Europe. And they had to deal with these fucking Arabs in the middle. And guess what? Christopher Columbus said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I want to be the man. I don't want to deal with these fucking Arab middlemen anymore. I want to be the man. I'm going to set sail the opposite direction, and I am going to have the exclusive path to find India in the opposite direction. That's why we celebrate Christopher Columbus Day, folks. It's not because he was a great guy. It's not because he was kind to strangers. It was because he had the balls. And lest we forget, folks, you know, when he set sail, you know, there wasn't, you know, any kind of GPS. There was no radar to figure out if there was going to be any storms. As a matter of fact, this guy used the wind to push his fucking boats. I mean, that's balls, man. And that's why we're celebrating Columbus Day, not because of any other fucking racial, European dominance, white supremacy, whatever the left is trying to say. Without this man and his balls, we would have never have found, I mean, maybe we probably would have found the New World, but we probably wouldn't be at this point right now in present day. And folks, we've gotten so social justice warrior that not even Columbus, Ohio is celebrating Columbus Day. Isn't that great? Fucking social justice warrior assholes. Anyway, let me move on. Happy Columbus Day to everybody out there, all right? And it's not because I liked the guy, not because I thought he was great to Indians or any of that shit. He had balls! Which we need nowadays with males in America today. What happened to your fucking balls? Let your nuts hang, young men! And stop being so fucking scared all the time! Fuck!
Oh, my God. I can't believe people are celebrating Christopher Columbus. He's a monument to white supremacy.
The fucking guy was Italian, and his voyage was funded by Spaniards. How the fuck is that white supremacy, you morons? I mean, aren't you all, I'm talking to you social justice warriors, aren't you all being racist? I mean, you're being racist against Italians. You're being racist against Spaniards. I mean, how in the hell can you claim that Christopher Columbus Day is white supremacy when they weren't even fucking white people, man? I mean, Jesus Christ. When Christopher Columbus came back and told the Kingdom of Castile that, hey, look, I found a new world. Look at it, I got some gold here. They were like, holy shit, let's send the conquistadors over there and go fucking kick the crap out of whoever's over there and take the gold. And that's what they did, folks. All right? You want to know what all the races of Mexico and South America is? It's the fucking rapings of the conquistadors and the Mayans, the Incas, and the fucking Aztecs. That's what Mexicans and South Americans are. They're the product of the rapings of the conquistadors, all right? How come we're not talking about that shit? Anyway, look, I got to move on, folks. We're running out of time here. I want to talk a little bit of some international relations because a lot of international news going on. I want to talk about Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visiting North Korea this weekend on what he called a productive meeting with Kim Jong-un. Secretary of State Pompeo states that North Korea is ready to allow inspections of a key nuclear site and sites. Which is a decent verbal commitment. I would say it's a very productive commitment, to say the least. But I do want to say that how come we're not hearing about this on the mainstream media? Remember when Kim Jong-un was, testing ballistic missiles and testing nuclear facilities? Oh, that shit was all over the news about 24 hours a day. Here we have the president who has basically nullified this situation, not getting any credit whatsoever. I mean, this is why you don't need to listen to mainstream media. What you need to do is listen to the straight political dope right here on the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. All right? Now, even though Secretary of State Pompeo visited this weekend and had a productive meeting, even though Pompeo stated that Kim Jong-un is ready to allow inspections of key nuclear sites, Kim Jong-un still plans to meet with China and Russian leaders soon. I don't know if it's this week or next week or a little later than that. And this is according to South Korea's president, who met with Kim Jong-un last week. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, for Kim Jong-un to visit with us and then going to visit with the Chinese and the Russians, I personally believe that Kim Jong-un is doing the same thing as India. They're playing both sides. They're going to see which side provides the better deal. And I think at this point in time, considering the educational background of Kim Jong-un, remember, he was educated in the West. I seriously doubt that he's having a good time being the king of this hermit kingdom. I mean, that's why when the Trump-Kim summit happened in Singapore, what was the first thing? The first thing Kim Jong-un did right after he got off his fucking plane, he went out on the town out there in Singapore, for Christ's sake. He went out there partying. Y'all remember that? Right as he got off the plane, Kim Jong-un went out partying in Singapore, for Christ's sake. This guy's waiting for that type of activity. You can't do that in fucking North Korea. That's what he wants. I mean, and you could tell that he's Western raised. Look how fat he is. I mean, I'm serious. You can't be that fat for that long, man. I mean, I'm not kidding. You can't be that fat for that long without either having a heart attack, major health problems, or dying. I mean, this guy is fat. I mean, this guy's double chin, has its own fucking area code, for Christ's sake. This guy's fucking fat. And lest we forget, the reason he's so fat is because he was Western educated. Specifically, he was educated in Switzerland, and he had a growing fondness that he's never been able to break away from Swiss cheese. He loves Swiss cheese. He can't get enough of it. That's why he's so fucking fat. So somebody that fat, do you think that he really cares about, a bunch of zombies in his goddamn country crying over him and praising him? He knows it's a bunch of goddamn brainwashed crap. It's not genuine. He knows it, and anybody who's a part of the state knows it, man. And I'm hoping that Kim Jong-un, even though he's trying to be diplomatically smart by meeting with the United States and then later on meeting with the Chinese and the United States officials, I hope that he realizes that his only way to go is to go on the side of the West. Because if you're going to go on the side of these moron totalitarians, then you're probably going to get the butt's end of the deal. You're going to be nothing more than your grandfather was, and I'm talking about Kim Il-sung, who was put into power by the Russians so that North Korea could be a communist satellite of USSR. And I don't think Kim Jong-un wants to be a satellite to any government. I think he wants to be his own government. But he's not naive to the fact that he needs natural resources, he needs investment, he needs material, and hence that's why he's opening up and trying to make a deal with the United States of America. So once again, Secretary of State Pompeo this weekend was in North Korea. He says that it was a productive meeting, Pompeo that is, and that North Korea is ready to allow inspections of key nuclear sites. But of course, here soon, in the next couple of weeks, Kim Jong-un is still planning to meet with China and Russian leaders, and that's according to the president of South Korea. Now, Secretary of State Pompeo has remained busy to say the least. Aside from him being in North Korea this weekend, today he was in China, and let me tell you, sparks were flying when Secretary of State Pompeo and the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi were in front of the media discussing what the hell they were talking about here today. And I mean, sparks were flying. I mean, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi began to blame the United States for escalating the trade friction and causing trouble over Taiwan. He stated, and I quote, "We demand the U.S. to stop this kind of mistake action." And Pompeo, he wasn't going to just sit there and allow these Chinese to mouth off. He decided to say that the U.S. and China had a fundamental disagreement on the issue that Mr. Wang was identifying. Pompeo also added that he wanted to discuss the details of his trip to Pyongyang and make sure that the Chinese and the U.S. were still working together on on North Korea's denuclearization. However, Pompeo stated, China chose not to hold diplomatic and security dialogue when it came to North Korea. So, they were taking verbal just pop shots at each other here. And this just goes to show you, it underscores the friction between the United States and China. Now, even though Pompeo stated that he wanted to talk about his trip to Pyongyang and he wanted to talk about potential North Koreans' denuclearization, he stated that China chose not to hold diplomatic and security dialogue in this trip. Now, as the media was being ushered out of this particular little it wasn't even really a press conference. It was just them two announcing certain things. As the media was being ushered out by the Chinese authority, Wang shouted at reporters that it was not China's decision to cancel the dialogue. Can you believe that? Right as the goddamn media was being ushered out, he comes out, it wasn't China's fault that we wanted to do the dialogue. So basically, we're blaming each other right now. That's where our stalemate is between the United States and China. We're blaming each other for the current situation or the bad blood that's happening between the two countries. And let's be honest, it's China's fault. And that's why the president in the past several rallies has said that China wants to make a deal. But the president then says, but I don't think they're ready for a deal. I don't think they're ready yet. I don't think they're ready. And I know that's pissing China off. Lest we forget, folks, that China, because we are having this type of a trade dispute with China, their house of cards of an economy is starting to crumble down. Like I told you, folks, where are they going to get the expected $600 billion they receive from the U.S. on an annual basis in a trade deficit? Where are they going to offset that? How are they going to get $600 billion out of nowhere? They can't. So yesterday, folks, you know what China did? China decided that it was going to pump into its economy $200 billion to keep the economy afloat. Huh? Let's just keep printing money. The Chinese don't know what they're doing, folks. They're doing what the United States was doing back in the early 2000s through Obama until Trump's tenure. Remember, that's what the United States did since 2000. Continuously print and print and print money. Remember all those stimulus packages? Remember that? Remember all those quantitative easings and the twist and all these stupid little economic tools that the Federal Reserve was supposedly using? I mean, these were just fancy ways to say they were printing money. And that's what's happening in China right now, folks. And that's why the president knows. He's blindfolded these fucking Chinese with dental floss, and the United States is at the advantage when it comes to this dispute. And that's why you've got China trying to flex its nuts at us over there in the South China Sea. Because they don't know how to get out of this pickle. You see, as much as they are hard asses when it comes to dealing, okay, the thing is that they don't understand the art of the deal. They don't understand how to utilize all resources around you in an attempt to make a legitimate, square deal. A square deal. What does a square deal mean? That means that all sides are the same and everybody should be just fine. But you see something, folks? China doesn't want to do that. China thinks that we owe them on an annual basis $600 billion in a trade deficit. I mean, remember, the president initially approached China just wanting to curb that $600 billion trade deficit on an annual basis. He just wanted to cut $250 billion of that off. And yet the Chinese still had a problem. Because these Chinese think that we're just supposed to continuously spend our money with them, and we're just supposed to make them rich. And I'm glad that the president is playing hardball with China. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, because look at what they're doing now. They are doing the same thing we were doing when our economy was in a precarious situation. They're just printing money. I mean, look it up, folks. They just put in almost $200 billion into their economy. They just injected it. Here's $250 billion. Here's $200 billion. Here you go. Whoo! We just printed $200 billion of Chinese tuna money out of thin air. Here it is. So they're in a precarious situation, to say the least, folks. And by the way, let me continue on with some China talk. Y'all remember last Friday I was talking about how the head of Interpol went missing in China after taking a trip to China this past week? Well, folks, it comes to turn out, like I had said, folks, that it was China that did something to this guy. I knew it. I knew it. But let me explain what's really weird about this. Now, the missing head of Interpol has now been found alive, but he was arrested by China for bribery and corruption charges. Ming Hongwei, the head of Interpol, right before he was, I guess, taken into custody by the Chinese, he texted his wife a picture of a knife, which was very eerie. And then he went missing. Now, when questioned by Interpol, international media has questioned Interpol and said, hey, wait a minute. Ming has been taken into custody into China for bribery and corruption charges. So what the hell's going to happen with him being the head of Interpol? Interpol announced, and this is very interesting, Interpol announced that he had resigned September 25th and was replaced by a guy by the name of Kim Jong-yang. How come this wasn't in the initial report this past week? Remember, folks, on Friday, I announced that this guy, the head of Interpol, went missing in China. And I suggested that apparently this guy knew something that China didn't want him to go out and say. And I was right, folks. I mean, look, they have him in jail now. His wife, Ming Hongwei's wife, is pleading with the Chinese government to let him out. I don't know why they had this guy jailed, but I figured that Interpol would have a little bit of a problem with it, but no. Ming, according to Interpol, announced his resignation September 25th and was replaced by some guy named Kim Jong-yang. How come this wasn't in the reports on Friday when they announced this guy missing in China? Very interesting here. It's very interesting, and in my opinion, this makes Interpol look like shit. It makes them look like a nothing burger when it comes to international law enforcement. I mean, if you can't even keep the head of your organization safe from nation states, what makes you think, Interpol, that you're going to be able to police the world? I mean, seriously, what makes you think that you're going to be able to police the world? You can't even keep the head of your organization safe. And not to mention, I said that this undermined globalist institutions. And it does. So what does this mean by Interpol claiming that Meng resigned on September 25th and was replaced by another guy? Does this mean that China can just literally do what it wants in the international community without any kind of international recourse? What kind of torch, what kind of holding of the torch of globalism is that? I'm telling you, folks, China is gone completely rogue, and I don't know what the hell China's going to do after this. I mean, that's why you've got Xi Jinping consolidating power. Xi Jinping has the power of Mao right now. Has the power of Mao. And now, what do you got? You got them taking into custody the head of Interpol and claiming Meng Hongwei, the head of Interpol, is guilty of corruption and bribery charges. Unreal, folks. Anyway, let me move on, folks. We're running out of time here. I do want to talk a little bit about Brazil. That's right, folks. This past Sunday was the election. And I was hoping that Jair Bolsonaro could hands down win the election. Now, he is in the lead. He does win the first round of the elections. Now, Brazil's law requires that a presidential candidate must get more than 50% of the vote. I believe Jair Bolsonaro got 46 or 47% of the vote. Now, he's going to go into a runoff with the left-wing Workers' Party candidate Fernando Haddad. Fernando Haddad, I believe, got 29% or 27 to 29% of the vote. So this is now the second round of the Brazilian elections, and the second round for Brazilian elections is October 28th. Once again, October 28th is the runoff election between Jair Bolsonaro and the leftist-wing Workers' Party candidate Fernando Haddad. And if you want my opinion, just based on the statistical data, I think that Bolsonaro has this won hands down. Now, why is this broadcast for Jair Bolsonaro? We are for Jair Bolsonaro because not only is he of the right wing as it pertains to his political persuasion, but he promises to kill communists. He promises to kill communists in Brazil. And I'm anxiously looking forward to this October 28th runoff election because I think he's going to win hands down. And I don't think that Bolsonaro should mess around at all. Once he takes power, he should go right after the infestation of communists that are plaguing the country of Brazil right now and start eliminating these pieces of trash. I mean, folks, haven't you heard about what's going on in Brazil right now? It's a war zone. I mean, it is literally unsafe to walk the streets because you've got communist criminals trying to cause violence and disorder to justify their communist takeover, because that's what communists do. Communists instigate problems. They instigate chaos. They instigate disorder, unrest. So it provides them the opportunity to justify why they should be in power. I mean, that's what they always do, folks. Take a look at every communist government and how they were brought about. It's the same shit, different plate. And the reason I like Jair Bolsonaro is because he's promising to execute these goddamn communists. And I'm going to take a tremendous amount of joy when Jair Bolsonaro is not only president of Brazil, but starts massively eliminating communists and systematically eliminating them like a fucking cockroach or a rodent. Because that's exactly what these people are. That's exactly what these people are. And let me tell you something. Since Bolsonaro has won this first round of elections, have you seen Brazil's stocks? Have you seen Brazil bonds? Every financial instrument pertaining to Brazil has gone up. So just an FYI to you capitalists out there, if Bolsonaro does win, and I think he is going to win the 28th runoff election, be expecting major gains in any financial instrument that is pertaining to Brazil. Because lest we forget, Jair Bolsonaro believes in privatization. And he does not believe in state-run bullshit. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see Bolsonaro. And I'm looking forward to this October 28th election, man. I'm telling you right now, it's like a few days before Halloween. And I'm telling you, I can't wait. Just like Man Bear Pig just said in the chat room, I can't wait for the Pinochet helicopter tours to open in Brazil, baby. Hey, Brazilian communists, I'm talking to you. You can run, you can hide, you get helicopter rides, you fucking communists. I can't wait for Jair Bolsonaro to take control of Brazil and kill communists. I can't wait. I hope he televises it, man. I hope he televises it. I'll be beer guzzling while goddamn Brazilian communists are being executed like it's going out of style. Kill Brazilian communists. Save your country, Brazil. Save your country. Anyway, folks, he's our guy, all right? If you're down with the capitalist, all right, Jair Bolsonaro is our guy, and I can't wait for those helicopter rides. Yes! And I think that he's going to win the damn runoff, hands down. I mean, what are they going to... They're going to elect this Fernando Haddad, left-wing workers' party, for Christ's sake. Get that leftist crap out of here. Get it out of here! Get it out! Go on the helicopter and get the fuck out of here! Anyway, folks, we got about 15 minutes left. Let me get to these last two subject matters that we have in the international relations news. Now, let's talk a little bit about Pootie Poo. That's right. I'm talking about Vladimir Putin, folks. I know everybody thinks he's some big badass. I remember, I don't know when these damn white nationalists and these alt-right pricks, I don't know when they're going to finally admit that they don't know shit from Shinola. They don't know shit from Shinola. I mean, wasn't it these alt-right white nationalist idiots that claimed that Taylor Swift was supposedly some kind of a closet right-winger because supposedly she was on 4chan? I mean, give me a break! She just came out this weekend exposing herself as some left-wing Democratic piece of trash. So once again, alt-right, white nationalists, fucking wrong again. All right? And when else were the white nationalists and the alt-righters wrong? When it comes to Vladimir Putin and Russia. Now, what was the going notion in the alt-right and the white nationalist groups? That somehow Vladimir Putin was a nationalist. He was a Russian nationalist, and he was something to look up to, right? That's what all these white nationalist alt-right idiots said. And what did I say? I said that Vladimir Putin and Russia was at the bottom of globalism. And nobody believed me, of course. These alt-right white nationalists, all talk, no action. They're out here on... You don't know what you're talking about, boomer. Huh? You don't know what you're talking about. Vladimir Putin, he's a nationalist. He's a Russian nationalist. He's a great leader. I'm a white nationalist. I'm an alt-righter. I should know. Well, take a look at all the globalist bullshit that Vladimir Putin is doing now. He, along with China, have assured the globalists that they will carry the mantle of globalism. What happened there, alt-right white nationalist? What happened to your boy? Huh? I told you back in 2016, if Vladimir Putin was truly a Russian nationalist, he wouldn't oblige the United Nations, like Trump isn't. He wouldn't acknowledge the International Court, like Trump isn't. He wouldn't acknowledge any of these globalist institutions. As a matter of fact, he would denounce the word globalism itself, just like Trump is doing. But is Vladimir Putin doing that? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, he is a champion of globalism. He's at the bottom of globalism. Don't you understand that now? Huh? Do you stupid fucking alt-right white nationalists see that shit now? You fucking morons? Now, the reason I bring up Vladimir Putin is because even though the mainstream international media puts Vladimir Putin and Russia on such fucking pedestals as if they're super hackers and super criminals and all this shit, the people in Russia don't like Vladimir Putin. I keep telling you people this. And the only thing keeping Vladimir Putin in power is the international media that bolsters this idiot. That's the only thing giving him any kind of credibility, is the fact that our westernized international media puts him and Russia on such a fucking pedestal that it gives validity into keeping Vladimir Putin around. These Russians, you know, they're very fucking nationalistic. You know, whenever they see Mother Russia in the international media and how everybody's scared of Russia and how Russia's a fucking the hacksaws of the world and all this shit, they like that shit. They whack off to that crap whenever they're guzzling down their vodka. But the bottom line is, folks, they can't stand the corruption of Vladimir Putin. They can't stand the stink of corruption on this son of a bitch. And I've told you, you take a look at Vladimir Putin's net worth. Vladimir Putin's net worth is over $140 billion, with a B, $140 billion. Now, how the hell did Vladimir Putin get that money? Huh? Did he make anything? Did he manufacture something? Did he create something? No! He fucking stole it like a dirty, filthy thief! Like a communist! That's what communists do! He took it! He didn't produce anything! And you know what? He thinks he's so big and badass with that $140 billion in his bank account. But let me tell you, the people of Russia are starting to get sick of his ass. And I don't blame them. I don't them. Anyway, trust in Vladimir Putin has fallen to 39% amongst Russians. This is the lowest rate of Putin's popularity since 2014. And I'm telling you, 39%. I've been telling you that the people don't want this guy for the longest time. You know what Vladimir Putin's doing to stay in power? He's killing people and jailing people. And you can only kill and jail so many people, Vladimir. People are sick and tired of your dirty, corrupt, commie ass. He's worth $140 billion. He stole it like a fucking commie. He fucking stole it. And that's why, I hate to go back to the Brazil coverage, but that's why I want Jair Bolsonaro to be president of Brazil, man. I want him to cut these fucking communist throats on television. I'm not joking. You're going to call me a sick man because I want to see communists killed? Hey, the communists would do the same with you. The communists would do even worse with you. So I can't wait, all right? And by the way, I can't wait for these damn Ruskies to put their fucking vodka down, stop mouth breathing, and stop being so cockeyed and realize that the only way that they're going to rid Russia of this fucking asshole Putin is if they themselves remove this guy. Remove this asshole and use the $140 billion that he has in his bank account to rebuild Russia. Because I know that Russia's having a very precarious economic time right now, but Vladimir Putin sure as hell ain't. I mean, Vladimir Putin is living like a fucking lavish king. And why? Because he stole money from the Russian quote-unquote oligarchs that he kicked out of his country. He's a fucking scumbag like every communist. That's why communists deserve to die. Because they do shit like this. They don't produce anything. They don't make anything. They steal it. They take it. That's what communists do. So the only good communist is a fucking dead communist as far as I'm concerned. And if you people don't like that, go shove it up your goddamn commie-loving ass. You trans-testicle turd burglars. Anyway, we got about 8 minutes left. Last fucking subject. I want to talk about Pope Francis. That's right. I want to talk a little bit about Pope Francis because did you hear? Pope Francis came out and blamed the devil for the church's division, scandals, and sex abuse crisis. Can you believe this fucking asshole? It's the devil's fault. So what does that mean? What does that mean, Popey? That the devil's more powerful than your fucking whore of Babylon institution? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to say... Because let's be honest, folks. All right, come on, man. You all have to know that the Catholic Church is not Christianity. The Catholic Church, if you want my opinion, is pure Satanism. Pure Satanism. It's the whore of Babylon. I mean, take a look at all the rituals and the smoke and the holy water and, you know, burning candles and angels and saints and all this fucking garbage, man. I mean, wake up, folks. How come Christians, I'm talking regular, everyday Christians, they don't believe in angels? It's only Catholics that believe in angels out here. And you know something, folks? I don't think that you people realize that the fallen that were banished to this earth by God or the Creator, He banished angels on the earth. Angels with wings. And the Pope has the audacity to blame the devil for the church division, scandals, and sex abuse crisis. And guess what? Guess who the Pope asks for help in relation to all this scandal and sex abuse, child sex abuse that's happening in the church? He's asking the angels for help. Oh, he's asking the fallen. He's asking the fallen for help. Oh, it's the devil's fault because of the scandals and the church division and the sex abuse from children. It's the devil's fault. So angels, please, we need your help. The Catholic Church needs your help, please. Get the fuck out of here, all right? And all of you have to know at this point that the Catholic Church is pure Satanism. Have you seen the Pope's church and how it looks? The inside looks like it's in the inside of the head of a snake. Have you seen the Pope's chair in which it has an upside down cross? I mean, I don't want to get into this, folks, but these Catholics have been abusing children for centuries. I mean, this is a part of their practice. We wouldn't be seeing this so widespread. We wouldn't have the Pope being implicated in covering this shit up if this wasn't something that they partook in. I'm talking about the priests and the cardinals and the bishops. I mean, this would not be as abundant as we have seen if this was just isolated incidents. This was something that these people practiced. And not only did they practice it, they made sure to cover it up. And folks, in my experience, any group that attempts to participate in either sexualization of children or sacrificing of children are Satanists. Only Satanists and these evil fucks would think that this is a good idea, that this is somehow spiritual, that this is somehow okay with a holy God. And now you've got Pope Francis blaming the devil. He's blaming the devil for the church's divisions, scandals, and sex abuse crisis on children. No, it's not the devil. It's the fact that you all worship Satan and got busted. You see, folks, I don't want to sound like I'm a Jesus freak, because I sure as hell am not. But I'm not naive. I'm not naive. And if you want my opinion, the reason that the church, the government, the deep state, no one can keep any of these secrets that they were so able to keep for centuries, is because we're living in revelations. And because we're living in revelations, everything is starting to be revealed. I mean, we're starting to realize that everything that we know is a lie. And that the power of Satanism is in deception. That's all it is. I mean, Satan really has no power on this earth. All Satan has, and his fallen, is deception. And that's why the bigger the deception now, the bigger exposure we're witnessing right before our eyes. That's why the Catholic Church can't hide this child molestation. That's why these Democrats who thought they were going to win in 2016 didn't, because they couldn't suppress the secrets. Remember, they got their goddamn emails exposed. They got everything exposed. Everything is being revealed, man. And I'm not trying to be biblical here, but I'm going to ask you guys this. And I've always asked everyone this, and no one has ever given me an answer, okay? It's real easy to be a Satanist. Because, evil, and it's edgy, and look at me, Satan is good, Satan is my pal. But why is it that everybody in the world hates Jesus? Can you explain that to me? Can somebody explain that to me? I mean, the Satanists, the atheists, the Jews, the Muslims. I mean, if you are a Christian, they hate you. I mean, we just witnessed during the Obama administration a whole mass genocide of Christians in the Middle East by ISIS, quote unquote. And the Obama administration not only funded this, but also armed and trained the ISIS fighters to conduct themselves in this capacity. How come everybody hates Jesus? I mean, I want to be honest with you folks, even if you don't believe Jesus is God's son, even if you just believe Jesus man, what did Jesus man do to make everybody hate Christianity? I mean, I'm just asking. I'm just asking. No one has been able to answer me that. I mean, you have a couple of Christians who pray by themselves in a football game and a basketball game at a public school. By God, that is against the church and state. That's against this. They have a coronary if they do that. But have these fucking Arabs do this stupid Allah praying. Have these stupid broads with the hijab on their head. Have the Satanists want to pose a goddamn statue of Baphomet in front of the goddamn fucking Capitol. They get to do it. And it's always Christians. It's always somebody who follows Jesus that's hated, that's beheaded, that's persecuted in modern day America and modern day world. Why? Why is it? What did Jesus do? What did Jesus advocate that was so fucking bad? He wasn't Mohammed over here who was saying that it was okay to marry a 7 or 8-year-old in Aisha and make him your wife and all this other crap. It isn't the Jewish practice of circumcision. And folks, if you don't know, the Jewish practice of circumcision requires a rabbi to circumcise a baby with his teeth. with his teeth. And you know what the rabbi does with the foreskin? He eats it. And I hate to be so sick, but that's the truth. And they believe there's something spiritual with that. How come these people hate Jesus so much? If somebody can answer me that question and answer it with a valid point and a valid reason, then maybe I'd understand. But what did Jesus do? He wanted individuality. That's what he wanted. Because individualism curbs collectivism. He didn't fucking give people anything. He taught people. That's what Jesus did. He taught people. What was that saying? Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man a fish, feed him for a lifetime. Individuality is what Jesus was talking about. Not falling victim to the state. Not falling victim to the current surroundings around you. Folks, it's not an accident. It's not an accident that this country, America, was founded by Christians that were being persecuted from Europe. The Puritans and the Quakers, these were the first people that landed on Plymouth Rock and all these other settlements in the East Coast. And why were they there? They were there to worship Christianity without being persecuted, to have religious freedom. That's the foundation of our country, folks, regardless of what these fucking godless Satanists and atheists and everybody else tries to say. We were founded as a Christian nation. And it's our running away from that foundation is what's caused this disgusting social environment that we have in America today. Everybody's godless. Everybody's an atheist. Everybody's a Satanist. They've already sold their soul, and they've got nothing for it. And that's why I'm telling you right now, I don't mean to get so biblical here, but when I hear Pope Francis blaming the, quote, devil for the church's division, scandals, and sex abuse crisis, and he's asking angels for help, I mean, I've got to call out a Satanist where it is. Okay? And that's why I'm telling you all, okay? That's why I'm telling each and every one of you all, you need to ask these kinds of questions, okay? You need to ask these kinds of questions. Like, why does Satan have wings? Why does every depiction of Satan have wings? He's an angel. How come you have this idea of angels being these very innocent beings that are supposed to give you something? You know, folks, that when you sell your soul for something, that you always have to pay it back. Always. I mean, I want to be honest with you. I'm going to be very candid with you. This is a satanic world, man. That's why they're pursuing and trying to kill Christians. Because the end goal of Satanism, folks, and I said this on Friday, look up Alice Bailey. Look up Alice Bailey, her philosophy and her Luciferian philosophy is being used as a spiritual premise for the United Nations. Alice Bailey, her Luciferianism. Look up Lucius Trust. Look up Lucius Trust. Look up the fucking writings of Alice Bailey, man. Alice Bailey. She writes that the end goal of all this Luciferian philosophy is that no individual will have any rights. So all of you that are selling us out, you think that you're going to be up in the hierarchy of Satanism? You've got another thing coming. I mean, one of Satan's most valiant servants, I'm talking about Stalin. He was a devout Satanist. He even said in the meeting between, you know, the infamous meeting, that picture between him, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Churchill, he He said at that meeting that the devil's on my side. He's a good communist. And he thought that it gave him power. There, at the end of his life, folks, you can look this up. He saw something at the end of his life, and he was in his deathbed. He pointed upwards and looked terrified and looked completely scared shitless, pointed upwards, and then collapsed. Now, this was told by his daughter. His daughter saw him get up off his bed, point to something as if he saw something that scared the shit out of him, and Stalin was never scared. The only time he was is when Hitler invaded Stalingrad. And then he died. You think that he went, he's in a very nice place? And one more thing before I get off this damn show. I'm going to tell you something, okay, that may freak you out a little bit, but you have to understand that your body is separate from your mind. And this has already been scientifically proven. Your mind is different from your body. We know that our minds and the origins of those thoughts do not derive from our brains. Our brains are but receptors of what our thoughts really are. So where do our thoughts come from? Where do our thoughts come from? There was a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, I should say, who conducted tests back in the 60s and the 50s in which he put people under anesthesia, but they were still awake. And he was able to take off the top of their skull to expose their brains, and started messing with certain crevices and certain portions of the brain in which he could control given thoughts, given actions of a human being by being in control of their brains. And even though that psychiatrist was able to, manipulate people into doing things by manipulating their brains, the subjects knew that those thoughts were not originating from them. And they realized that they were being manipulated. You understand? These weren't natural thoughts. They realized that they, through the control of their brains, were being forced to do something. So even if you're in control of somebody else's brain, that person is going to know that they are not in control of themselves. Which proves that the origin of thought is not in the brain. The origin of thought is, well, I don't know. Where the hell is it? It's somewhere, isn't it? Because our brains are receptor of thoughts. It's not the originator of thoughts. And if it's the receptor of thoughts, then who are we? And who are you? Where are we? Where are you? I mean, even Descartes knew this. The guy who created the scientific method. He even knew this shit. He even knew this. I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. Anyway, folks, I didn't mean to get off on all this, religious discourse. But I do want everybody to know that this is an evil fucking world. And the people that are in charge know that they're working for Satan. I mean, let me just give you one example. One more example before I get off the air. Now, gays and lesbians, okay? Now, what they celebrate something every June in which they celebrate. What do they celebrate? Pride. And why was Satan banished here because of the Bible? Pride. And that's why you all hear this shit from the LGBTQ all the time. I got pride. Pride. Pride, baby. Pride. That's why they keep saying it. That's why they keep saying it, man. This is a fucking satanic world. They know what they're doing. These people are sick. And I refuse to be a part of it, okay? I don't give a shit what kind of material, what kind of life status, whatever. I refuse to go on the side of fucking evil. I refuse to go on the side of Satan. All right? And if you are going to go down that direction, then remember this. You are but a grain of salt of people who will do whatever it takes to get whatever they want from this satanic order. But I sure as hell ain't. And you know what? My psyche feels very clear right now. My psyche feels very clear. You want to know why? Because I'm not burdened with any kind of goddamn what-ifs. What if I'm doing this for the devil and I end up burning in hell? What if I end up doing this and I'm in a bad situation once you die? Because listen, your body is nothing more than meat. What creates the animation of your body, folks? What makes you move your arms and your hands and your legs? Energy. Energy. That's what you are. Energy. There's electric synapses going through your body every time you move, every time you think. Energy. And when you die, what happens? The life force, the energy, leaves your body. Have you been around somebody who's died before, folks? You could see the life force just leave the body. You could feel it. And if that life force can leave the body, then where is it? What is it doing? Where is it going? Are you going to believe this new age satanic bullshit that we're reincarnated? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, folks, I don't mean to get so religious. I'm just saying I refuse to go on the side of evil. And look, you have to know that all this shit that's going around us, it's evil, man. It's all evil. We need to go back to a certain idea in which we can combat evil. And at this point, the only thing that I see that combats evil is Jesus. And I don't care if you don't think that Jesus is the Son of God. I don't care. I'm talking to you people that think that you're atheists. I'm talking about Jesus man. Why is Jesus man so hated? Why? If he's so insignificant like the Jews write about him in the Talmud, then why in the hell do they hate him so much? If Jesus is so not powerful and insignificant, then why do Satanists hate him so much? If Jesus is not the Messiah and is insignificant, then why the Muslims hate him so fucking much? If you can answer me this question, then just maybe I'll believe something that you're selling. But you're not going to be able to answer me that question. I mean, lest we forget that Jesus was he and a little over a dozen people. It was his following. It went from that to what we see now. And let me tell you, man, we need to go back as a Christian nation. And the reason I say that, folks, is because Christians, they don't hate. They may not like, but they don't hate. They don't want to see somebody dead because they disagree with them. They don't want to see somebody dead because they don't worship Jesus. As a matter of fact, folks, most people who believe in Jesus believe in community. That's exactly what Jesus taught, man. He taught that we're not perfect. And that's why he died on the cross, right? He died for our sins. So all these holier-than-thou Christians out there that are trying to claim that we're going to burn in hell because of this and because of that, you need to realize that, you know, Jesus wasn't perfect. We're not perfect. Humans aren't perfect. But the last thing you need to do is just give your soul away to some fucking atheism or some Satanism because you think it's the right thing to do. because it feels good, because it makes me feel like I'm strong and I'm edgy. Because how the hell do you know what's going to happen once you die? How the hell do you know? I mean, it's been scientifically proven for all you scientists out there. It's been scientifically proven that our thoughts don't originate from our 97% cholesterol-based brains. You know that? Our brains are 97% cholesterol. It's a big fat. It's just fat. That's what it is. And I'm telling you, open your eyes to what's going on around you, folks. Look, I'm going to get off this damn broadcast, but look around what's going on around you. All right? Take a look at how many people are fucking evil and that believe in all this satanic garbage. Just take a look. Let's take a look. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm already almost 20 minutes in. I'm already 20 minutes into the 4th hour. I've gone overboard a little bit. I may have gone into a little bit of a religious soliloquy. My apologies. But I want to thank you all for tuning in to this broadcast. I really do appreciate it. Whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you like me or hate me, I appreciate you listening into the broadcast. I will be back this Monday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Once again, it's ghost.report. All right? Ghost.report. All right? And all I'm simply stating to you is, look around you, man. All right? Look around you. And look, there's a couple of Jesus people in here. Listen. Hey, you guys that are saying Jesus didn't teach this, Jesus didn't teach that, why do you think you got a bunch of faggots, uglies, and fatties denouncing Jesus? It's because of that holier-than-thou type of stuff. And, you know, right now is not the type of environment to get people down with Jesus by getting on any kind of a soapbox claiming that you are any better than anyone else. And the only way that anyone who is a follower of Jesus can claim anything is if they know that the person that they are chastising is a Satanist. If this is somebody who is just lost and doesn't know any better, well then, by God, why in the hell are you going to fucking wave your finger at that person, claiming that you know better than that person, claiming that you're holier than thou with that person, and think that they're going to get on the side of Jesus? Wake up, man. That is what got Jesus out of vogue. That's what got Jesus out of mainstream. That's why every one of these atheists and Satanists all talk shit about Jesus. So, in my personal opinion, before you start waving your finger about how much you know Jesus, how much you think Jesus did this and Jesus did that, I think that you need to realize that is what draws everybody away from Jesus. And that's why you got faggots and uglies and fatties going to fucking atheism, Satanism, and witchcraft and all this other horse shit. Stop thinking that you're fucking perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And that's the way it is. All right? You sin. I sin. And that's the way it is. We live in an earth of fucking sin. But the only difference is if you are a fucking sick, evil maniac that likes to see people suffer. Like these Democrats that were whacking their fucking private parts off underneath the goddamn podium while they were running the damn name of Brett Kavanaugh through the ringer and watching this man break down and cry. Those fucking Democrats loved seeing that. They think that's funny. They think it's great. That's evil. That's soulless. So once again, I strongly tell you guys that think that I know Jesus, Ghost. You're not saying the right thing about Jesus. Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? Nobody likes Jesus right now in the fucking world. Who gives a fuck? Everybody's a fucking Satanist. Everybody's an atheist. Everybody believes that science is going to save us from everything. So continue on that holier-than-thou road and see how many fucking Christians you get on your side. Anyway, I'm getting the fuck out of here, all right? I'll be back Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, Ghost.Report. And by the way, if you do appreciate the content that you're listening on this broadcast, well then, by God, take a look on Ghost.Report under the Cryptocurrency Wishing Well tab. And if you appreciate the broadcast, throw something in the Cryptocurrency Wishing Well to sustain the continuity of this broadcast. And once again, if you throw in more than 25 USD in crypto, I'll send you some production notes, baby, all right? It's as simple as that. Follow me on my Gab account, folks, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost. And by the way, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, then all you've got to do is go to my Gab account, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores. Click the subscribe button for premium content. And once you do that, private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will personally private message you back with a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all right? I'll be back Wednesday. You better be here. And once again, spread the word about the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, baby, all right? I'm getting the hell out of here. Long live the capitalist army, and death to feminism! Death to socialism, and death to communism! I'm getting the hell out of here. I'll be back once again this Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And be on the lookout for another article dropping some dirt on some Democrats at Ghost.Report. I'm out of here! Woo!